I so big. The people of the land, yes, you understand yourself. Why you know somebody like we are different. Liberian people can go get up, so we got back our
Let me welcome us, everybody that has tuned in to watch us tonight. We are going to be bringing a play-by-play descriptions, a fact. So invite someone because the discussion here tonight is going to be quite very, very interesting. You know, there was a reason why I referred to that man fingering. There's a reason. And for you to know what I mean by that, he is not Alexander B. Cummings. He is Alexander fingering Cummings. So keep tuned, invite someone because the discussion here tonight is going to be quite very, very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. And you can't just miss it. So invite someone, share the page. So we'll reach that number. I will start.
In this country, Liberia, there was no war. From the time we were free, Liberia, we were one people. Stop working, stop working, stop working, stop working. Oh, that's what today. There is no peace, but European are one people. Yes, they understand yourself. What I do not stay I am so big. The people of the land, yes, they understand yourself. Why in a Somaliland, we are different. Liberian people can do together, so we can have our peace.
When we knew Liberia before, Liberia was a godly country. That's what the music is saying. Liberia, that you know, it was a godly country. But today, nepotistic activities have taken over the government. Cronyism have taken over. Massive corruption have taken over. So that's what I am playing this music for. Because the nepotistic behavior is just past mark. The nepotistic activities in our land is just past mark.
C'est bled 20. C'est bled 20. See?
We need to go back on the Sakimo tree. People of Masorado, yeah, let's go back on the Sakimo tree. Fellow citizens, one amen, feed a giant. Complete popo, entire with your story. Well, you came to us, to open the light. Now we know you want big darkness.
Fake oppositions.
When black people in the land, one I make and one I let giant. To have a man and one I make must calm down. Really, move. That play you setting and I'm sure and play, oh. When I'm begging you say, you gotta calm down. Be fire around, oh. Nothing got calm down. Nothing got calm down. The reform not around. Nothing got calm down. Nothing got calm down.
People get it once upon sweat. Get it once upon sweat. If I get it once upon sweat. Get it once upon sweat. They want to not smell it. They want to.
Koluba.
Yeke Kolba.
Yeke
Bonafan
Koluba.
Yeke Kolba. Yeke Kolba.
Yeke Koluba, welcome to the TV.
And the vote that coming, the next vote,
Uh-huh.
we have to be careful. Especially me, I Yeke Kolba. I will vote, trying for people. Black guy, I will vote for black guy. For the country to be set. The vote. Because it will be 3% that will be running.
3% will be running in the coming election.
Yes. We got the vice president with Joe Taylor. Then we got the president Joe Weah. Then Joseph Boakai. It's a 3% that will be running. Actually, that we know about then. You got me? But the size, my only side that we already taking it, and the whole country will take it. It will be Joseph Boakai.
So what you really seeing now? Tell what really making you vex in the whole thing?
What making you vex? The country is looking better. Yeah.
You saw the country looking bad. How you looking bad?
Fine. Thing that we not seen before. We seen it.
What do you see now?
Fine. We never see anything that they say my close church. We never see anything that they say my close school. Do not hold one another hand. You got me?
I got you.
Can I ask my question real quick?
Of course, of course.
Thank you very much, because you kept talking about you moderating tonight. And I think Musa was off with his math. And I just figured out that probably he didn't do calculus in school. When he said it has 70, the leadership was 70, but he counted and he missed the math, 24, something, 11. But it's okay, Musa. I mean, you can miss the math, but, you will not miss your money because you're one of Liberia wealthy person. So let's get to the question about this thing. Let's get to this thing. My question, I'm kind of confused, Chairman, and a lot of people confused. Is there still a Liberty Party to reckon with?
Damn, man, come on. You know I'm not going to answer that question. That question is provocative and unacceptable.
No, it's not. It's not.
Then,
Musa,
can I ask me that question? Because you know that there's a Liberty Party, and you cannot ask me whether there is still a Liberty
I will ask you the question because a lot of people are concerned.
If there was no Liberty Party, I would not be sitting down here. And you know that.
That's what people are trying to figure out. Why are you and the political leader? No, listen now, Chairman. Why are you and the political leader? Why are you and the political leader can get along? You are the two adults in the room when it comes to Liberty Party. I'm hearing you saying that she travel. Listen, I got to ask you my question. Let me answer that question now. No, let me learn, Chairman. Let me learn. They are saying to you. No, I ain't kind again. Let's ask some good question here. These guys not playing around with you because you'll be having tea with Abdullah tomorrow at Royal. So let's just have this thing going. But listen, Musa, then let's just be serious for a minute though. Only you and Yombly, political leader, chairman, why you guys can come along? Why you guys can put this thing together for the sake of the party? You said she was traveling. She told me she returned. She didn't say anything. It's like a boyfriend and a girlfriend having a misunderstanding, but who just left the house and not texting each other to say, honey, how are you? This is Liberty Party we're talking about. You knew she returned to the country. Forget all the pride and ego. You knew very well that you were inviting Cummings on your party ground. You were right when you said, I don't need to announce it. Cummings needs no invite to come to Liberty Party compound. You were right. But they asked about the courtesy. Political leader will be hosting Cummings. Why couldn't you do that? Why you guys can drop your pride and work as an adult in the room?
All right. So before I answer your question, let me correct you.
Yes, sir.
My brother, I went to school. I know how to do math. You're not going to lecture me about
Maybe you don't know calculus.
Let me answer. I told you the leadership structure of the Liberty Party.
You said there was 70, but you named 62.
But let me read it to you now.
I don't want you to read it.
No. You can't make a statement. I will not answer to you. The county leadership is 30. The executive committee is 27. The advisory council is 11. and the political leader. So you do the math and come back.
No, I'm not, because you start
No,
to 62, but that's not important. Let's move ahead. The math is not important. Let's talk about the party and the politics, my man.
Because that's why you started with to say that I didn't do calculus. But brother, I want
you didn't do calculus in school, my man. A
No.
lot of people didn't do calculus. Only the person alone did calculus, my man. Let's move ahead, man.
Those things don't fly by me.
My man, you're bad for all. We will play the tape. You were mistaken in your mind. You were mistaken. We will play the tape, and I will send it to you. I will send it to you. You will play the tape.
It's correct, and the leadership structure of Liberty Party I just named to you. And my point was, I know you are listening to me, that 90% of that number stand with the decision we make, and I stand.
So are you saying you don't want to answer my question? Are you saying only Delon and Yombly by themselves? Only Delon and Yombly by themselves, the rest of the people are with you?
So which other question you want me to answer? This one or
answer anyone, take anyone. You just beating around the bush, Musa. Go ahead. Answer the question. Why you and Yombly can go in the room and make peace for the sake of party? Why you're fighting each other?
First of all, this is a wrong premise, and I don't accept that. The issue of Liberty Party is not personal. So for you to come and tell me, well, first of all, you are the body that runs the day-to-day affair of the party is the executive committee. So there's no beef between me and the political leader. I don't accept that. We have no personal issue.
You don't have to accept it. Everybody's saying it. You guys are not coming along. There's a big divide. There's a big divide between you and Senator Yombly.
So are you going to allow me to answer a question?
Go ahead, Musa. Chairman, go ahead. Chairman, go ahead.
So you have to tell me that you will not interrupt my question. Otherwise, then there's
I gave you a minute and a half. I will not interrupt you.
You don't give me time when to answer my question. I will answer my question and don't interrupt me.
Chairman, go ahead. If you made a mistake, I will correct you. Go ahead.
Exactly. So when you make the mistake, I will correct you too, my brother. Not because they play for you, so
no, it's not for me. It's for you. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'm just coming to you because everybody know it's a big divide between you and Senator Kanga Lawrence.
No, you cannot have that. I totally don't accept that. And I
you don't need to accept it. That's a reality out there.
No, it is
you
not
true. You guys cutting speech for each other. You guys cutting Chemlin. You guys are cutting Chemlin. You're cutting speech. You're cutting the school girls and school boys.
No, you are spewing misinformation because this is not about Musability and Yombly. This is about the political leader.
It's about who gets the power to run Liberty Party. It's about Musability. It's exercising his chairmanship power compared to Yombly, who will exercise a political leadership power.
No, it is about the executive committee exercising its right as an executive committee. You want to personalize it.
No, you and Yombly having a divide in Liberty Party. You Chairmanability and Yombly cannot speak on good terms. You Chairmanability and Yombly cannot see eye to eye. You are the chairman. She is the political leader. When last have you guys have come up with a conclusive together statement? It have never happened. You running on the left, she running on the right. You guys are taking different routes, and you know that. Don't fool the Liberian people. You know that very well.
Yeah.
And destroying the Liberty Party, though.
All this your sermonizing and romanticizing you are on, it doesn't take me anywhere. What
I'm not saying it should take you
anywhere. That's what you're doing. What I'm saying to you is the Liberty Party Executive Committee is not Musability. And I will not allow you to make it appear that it is Musability. It is the Executive Committee. It is a 24-member Executive Committee. And you would not term that as Musability. That is disrespectful to 23 other people.
Musa, when last you spoke to Yombly Kanga Lawrence?
What?
When last you spoke to the senator on issue relevant to the party? Saturday. When she put out her press statement, did you call her and ask her why she put out such press statement?
So before you ask me this question, did you ask her whether she called me to ask me before she put out
I'm asking you. You are the chairman. And that's what we talk about, the ego about who's going to control the party. You are the chairman. She's the political leader.
You are not a party of Liberty Party. Get out of it. It's not your business.
I don't have to be the policy of Liberty Party. You don't have to get mad, Musa.
Whatever party you in,
You don't have to get Musa, you don't have to get mad.
Ask me the question, I will answer.
Musa, you don't have to get mad. It's the truth. The truth is that you are allowing your egos to destroy Liberty Party. You are allowing your egos to destroy Liberty Party. You know that. You should go in the room and discuss the fact.
I want to eat now.
Okay. All right. Okay, gentlemen.
I want to eat. Give me some of the meat. Let me eat.
Gentlemen.
Can I ask my question real quick?
Of course.
Thank you very much, because you kept talking about you moderating tonight. And I think Musa was off with his math. And I just figured out that probably he didn't do calculus in school. When he said it has 70, the leadership was 70, but he counted and he missed the math, 24, something, 11. But it's okay, Musa. I mean, you can miss the math, but you will not miss your money because you're one of Liberia wealthy person. So let's get to the question about this thing. Let's get to this thing. My question, I'm coming to, and you discredit him. You accuse him. What do you think the CDC going to do? 2023, they're going to play the tape. And Kev, you know that. When the CDC say, you know what? When Democratic Party say play the tape, when Republicans say play the tape, you know exactly where is this going. Today will be a day to remember when it comes to Liberty Party. Maybe some of you guys are afraid, but at least I would say,
yeah. I always hate Musa ability and harder, but some
question on gay rights, and I've answered this question, and perhaps not too elegantly, and I've used the words that I'm conflicted by this issue, but let me explain why. Let me explain what I mean by that. It's a lifestyle that I struggle with. As important, though, I believe, Liberians are also focused on health, education, jobs, and I also want us to focus the conversation on those issues.
You think the answer to that question the right way?
I don't know if that's
it's a very sensitive.
It's a very sensitive issue, and I don't know if that's
there was a strict with youth support is something that you would,
Mamadi, I think.
By doing the kind of things that Dillon is doing, hello, if United Party wanted a vote from Liberty Party, they just lost one in Darius Dillon because he's not going to be on the table when we're deciding. He's compromised. At the end of the day, this institution will make a decision. Whether it is me or it's what I want, it doesn't matter. But for Darius Dillon to look at me and call me criminal, a man, and I said that Benjamin Masambi is the witness, I housed this man for 2 years. Pay for his rent for 2 years. The very car Darius Dillon was using before he became senator, I bought it for him. The campaign is on record. His 2019 campaign, I asked him, how much you have? He said, I only have $100 for my campaign. I gave this man 20,000 United States dollars. He goes around, if it's not for me, he would never have to.
Let me come.
We got to go.
And people, the hero is hurt. And how you say, the hero very small in the beginning. So, we want no teacher put in anything. Today, we are doing a last cap interview for the hero to tell us. But in the beginning, to him, hero, it's up to you.
What didn't I do for these boys?
Go and ask your grandfather.
I used to pay his rent.
We know.
Helping with tuition.
We know.
Birthday.
We know.
When Lasana went to jail, we spent almost $1,000 to get Lasana out of jail. That today, Lasana Kenneth insulting me on Facebook.
Move that boy. I don't know. You didn't ask me. Can you imagine?
The other one, why any Fred? They've cell phone you using our body. that the phone you can be using on Facebook to be insulting me. These boys are ungrateful. Lasana, who the place he sleeps, I pay the rent, attacking me. The phone the man bought, I help the man to buy. And the phone the man can be using on Facebook to be insulting me.
Okay, you me to talk. He don't have him off.
Freddie Fred. It doesn't do anything to me anymore when he begin and betray me. The convention, because of his attitude, the Peking brought the killer bean boss. So Zogo. You so good at the time you go bring Zogo to enter and the vote in COP convention. Lasana, you will never be youth chair of COP. Never. You lost your way.
So you are settled now. Or you adding a small child for? So you for people you can't talk it. You, I'm a lot of you. You be like a child. You be like a child. Swear. And people, the hero is hurt. And how you say, the hero very was my beginning. So, we want no teacher put in anything. Today, we are doing a last cap interview for the hero to tell us. But in the beginning to him. Hero, it's up to you.
What didn't I do for these boys?
Go and ask your grandfather.
I used to pay his rent.
We know.
Helping with tuition.
We know.
Birthday.
We know.
When Lasana went to jail, we spent almost $1,000 to get Lasana out of jail. That today, Lasana Kenneth insulting me on Facebook.
Move that boy. I don't know. You didn't ask me. Can you imagine?
The other one, why any Freddie Fred? The cell phone you're using.
You know, as I said, welcome to the Magnificent Abraka Talk Show. Tonight, it is my one that is here tonight. My co-host is very basic. So, because of that, you know, he will not be here with me tonight. You know, as I said, you know, Mr. Arizona fingering Cummings. This guy is in serious trouble. This guy is in serious trouble. Can you imagine a male lawyer? The male lawyer then, instead of then saying, and they say that they have evidence, and Mr. Cummings then said that they have not done nothing. So Serena Seaforth, who by the way will be playing his claim for you, they have substantial evidence. It's not just small evidence that this garden has. The garden have witnesses to prove that Mr. Fingering Cummings fingered the documents. And so he will be when he is found guilty, Mr. Cummings will be in prison for 1 year. 1 year. So that thing that is the more veteran pass around with. When they talk Mr. Cummings, the first thing is that he lawyer then went. It's not yesterday. I'm talking about Monday or Tuesday. And the man lawyer then first went. The man lawyer then went, thinking that they can mango the court. Mango. The court. The court said that they cannot go through the case if Mr. Alexander Fingering Cummings living body is not there. Then the lawyer knew that yes indeed that that case was not a small potato. That how come there was even one of the lawyers came outside to make telephone call, told Mr. Cummings that you have to come. Told Mr. Cummings that you have to come. That how come we saw Musa Hassan Belete arriving arriving, then he was saying, you know, the man, he was giving out kind of jinjan story. The criminal Musa Hassan Beledi. This case, so help me God. The men are instead of agreeing, instead of conquering with the Solicitor General, saying that yes, the entire trial should be televised. Mr. Alexander Bikumi, who said that Mr. Benna Yue does not have any substantial evidence against him. The main lawyer in consultation with Mr. Alexander fingering Cummings, they went ahead, they concur. He concurred with his lawyer, saying that the entire trial should not be televised because they don't want him to be standing in the docket for cautioning. He said no. Her lawyer now argue. The judge is not agreeing because the man is the accuser. But there's something that happened in the court yesterday or today. There's something that happened in the court. The red said, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings leaving body and orders. The court left that room open and orders. That orders, the Solicitor General, that man no book. The Solicitor General, a man born him good. Yes. The man said that orders. And there's a Secretary General and Daniel Yete, who is the party chairman. The man said that orders. 2 persons is to be added on Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. The Secretary General and that of the party chairman. More room there for others. That's the reason why I am saying that Mr. Alexander B. Cummings Mr. Alexander fingering Cummings does not understand the mumbo jumbo of the Liberian politics. You just feel that when you come from bottling bottles, then you come on the field. When they finish retiring you, then you come on the ground. Because Liberia is your slave. Liberia is your slave. So you come on the ground to say that you want to become president. The man said that he don't want to become vice president. He don't want to become minister. He don't want to become a senator. But president. That will not President John by a man born him for. The great judgment we are. They may have to take the Senate to learn someone, whether he learned B or he learned someone. But to Josh Manawia, that was the way to get into the system. This case is very big. Because when Mr. Alexander B. Cummings was going to agree, that they take the stand, that the whole thing be televised, her friends see him in the docket, questioning, answering questions. Then he was going to lose a lot of respect. But you know what? The recording we have done here. Let me play you the first statement of when his lawyer came out to tell him that Mr. Cummings, you have to come. How come Mr. Alexander F. Cummings, the S stand for fingering, Mr. Alexander Fingering Cummings decided to come at Capitol Hill. But before he could arrive, there was Musa Hassan Bete came. Let us listen to him.
So we're still here, continuation, Front Page Africa Live. Musa Hassan Beliti has just arrived from the
In fact, you communicating with them, how you sue that person, how CPP recognize an individual, something concerned. CPP is a full institution. There's no individual involved. How you sue one person for that? You want to say what would be the reaction of the law to that? Your question is what do you expect? Western justice.
So that the CPP is actually has already said.
Right now, it's about Mr. Cummings' reputation. This is not. I'm not here for the CPP. I'm here to ensure that Mr. Cummings gets justice. I'm here to ensure that there's fairness, and we also want to use this time to ask the government to stay out of this. Because
is the government part of this?
According to the rate, you see, whether it is procedure or whatever, criminal charges have to always be filed by the government. So what we are saying,
Way Street, Mobile Yobo.
That means that the bird does not understand the government. Musa Hassan Belete does not understand the government, does not understand the legal system that works in our country. That's what Musa Belete does not understand. Musa Belete does not understand the legal matter of our country. Musa Belete does not understand the legal mupunjumu of our country. The brother does not understand how our legal system works. Therefore, the man to say that the government should stay out of this, a criminal case, then you asking the government to stay out of it. For the government to stay out of a criminal case, then it should be between you and That's the reason why I am saying ADD made a serious mistake to put Musa Belete as a party chairman. That was a serious mistake. A brother who does not understand our legal matter. Oh yes, Musa does not understand it. For the man to say that the government needs to stay out of it, a criminal case. Oh, the man does not know that the government is supposed to get strongly involved because it's a criminal case. It's not just 2%. It's not a civil matter. This is a criminal matter. Amen. So you want to tell me Musa parents saying to school for nothing? Is that what you're telling me? That Musa parents saying to school for nothing? That Musa does not, although he went to law school, that he does not understand the differences between civil and criminal cases? Is that what you're telling me here? You know, and I will strongly suggest that they arrest Musa driver. I say a driver, right? I will strongly suggest that they arrest Musa special security. Because, let me show you guys what the man special security did. The man special security Let me show you guys what the main Social Security did. Oh yes, I am here. The main social aid, the main Social Security, the main bloody, the policeman. So I would suggest that they charge that Social Security guy that is Bia Musa. That they charge him. That they charge him. That they charge him. Let they charge this Musa security guard. Now, let me bring in the Solicitor General. Here, you can hear from him himself.
This case is a high-profile case. You know, we saw you the last time you were running into the Temple of Justice, and we saw you today again making some remarks. Can you talk to us, the Liberian people, on this show tonight? What are your thoughts and the way forward with this case?
All right, listen, this case did not originate from the government of Liberia. Mr. Yuri, the All Liberian Party, is a part and parcel of the collaborating political party. And there are 4 political parties. They have what they call a framework document that was executed. They made some suggestions, some proposals in the amended version, because they have the original document. Then they have the amended version where certain proposals and other articles were to be cited. Because some of the issues, especially regarding as to what the party may exit the CPP, were unresolved. So they then authorized the lawyers to work along and see how they could take in those points and those various articles as a way to be able to resolve some of the sticky issues, some of the issues that were not resolved. So the document was then given to the lawyers and under the leadership at that time, the CPP under the leadership of Mr. Cummings. And when they went and did the work, what the All Liberian Party said is that it did not refer to them. And what they did to, they took the May 19, 2020 cover page of the previous document, which is the original copy, and attach it to the one that they have, for example, the one that they themselves did. They attached a photocopy of that particular date signing, and they took a photocopy of the signature page and attached it to the one that they did the amendments on. So they then filed without reverting to the political parties for them to sign. If we do the comparative analysis between what they filed and what was presented as the amended version with the amendments to be included, you know there are varying, the disparity between some of the articles. For example, Section 9.3, as contained in the amended version of the framework document, is speaking to something else with a different name as opposed to the one that they filed. So, for some reason, if you had the amended version copy in your possession, and you are indicated, for example, for the word no to be included in the one that they were supposed to add up to. When they brought it back, when they filed it, they had yes as opposed to no in the one you have. That constitutes serious alteration, and also the fact that they use a photocopy of the cover page of the original document, May 19, 2020, to form the basis as it appeared that the document was executed on May 19, 2020 was actually fraudulent. And so a party, the All Liberian Party, clearly disagreed and claimed that forgery had occurred. And they then went to the magisterial court and made a complaint upon oath. The national chairman of the All Liberian Party, Honorable Theodore Mogu, went to the court and pray for a writ. The law provides, for example, under chapter 10, section 10.6b of the criminal procedure law of Liberia gives the magistrate the authority to issue a writ based on a complaint of the Liberian citizen or based on a complaint of a citizen. So when the writ is issued, because it has a criminal component and all crimes are committed against the state, it is then and only then that the state gets involved. So the role of the state is simply to ensure that the private prosecutor, the person that brings a case to court, if it is a man, it's called a private prosecutor. If it is a woman, it's called a private prosecutor. In this case, it's the private prosecutor. In this case, is the All Liberian Party. So today we had an opportunity to have the hearings. There were too many challenges on the floor, and we have to clear them. So this matter is not like, for example, the governor of Liberia getting accused of anyone.
Honorable SG, I beg you. How serious is this case? Knowing that Mr. Cummings is a political leader, one of the top 3 political leaders in the nation. How serious is the involvement of the government of Liberia? Of course, the government of Liberia must be involved, but the undertone, the message that this carry from Mr. Cummings. Yes, sir.
Yeah, listen, it's serious, and the law is holding not the government of Liberia, but the law is holding Mr. Cummings, accountable. On the ground that when you become the chair of the CPP, you are still maintaining, for example, the structure of your party, because there's still a difference between the party and the CPP. So the CPP chairman is an individual. The position is given to an individual, not to the party. Now, when you're talking about the seriousness of it, because when crime has been committed against the state, then the state will have to act based on the complaint. So for all, the only seriousness that is attached to this case is to have a full hearing and present the evidence as is.
Wow.
So, under Article 11C of the 1986 Constitution, Mr. Cummings, like any other criminal defendant, is equal before the law. You'll be given a fair and impartial trial. You have an opportunity to cross-examine and face his accuser. That the law provides for that. That's a fundamental principle of due process.
SG, please, 1 minute. We got to announce. People are asking who's speaking. This is Serena Seaforth, Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. He was present at the Temple of Justice the last time. He went there today and he spoke to the press. Real real quick, guys. Who go first?
Yeah.
Because we're not keeping Serena for that long.
Let me. SG, this is Ben Sandy. Happy New Year to you and to your family and the folks at the Justice Ministry. Let me ask you a question. What is and you don't have to be spot on. Currently, what is the status, just for the education of our listeners and viewers? Where is the status right now? Is there a trial date being set? What is your projection as far as the length of this process? Is this thing, are we looking at, this thing being open-ended and windy?
Okay, for some reason, if the law actually governing the magistrate court is like criminal matter supposed to last at least at most 15 days or 1 month. So let's assume that there are no challenges to some of the proceedings that will be taking place maybe Monday or Tuesday. Because if there are challenges on the part of the defense or the prosecution, the circuit court, that would delay the matter. But let's assume that there are no challenges. Basically, it might take maybe a month to conclude. But we're starting fully, maybe if we get a notice of assignment tomorrow or thereabout, we may start maybe on Tuesday or on Monday. But the length, actually, this trial should go for at least maybe at most 21 days. But if there are challenges to the conduct of the trial on the part of any party, the party may seek redress either through one of the remedial processes assigned to this magistrate court before the circuit court. And that would be trying to take the judge on a summary, specifically as regards the issue of law or a conduct that the party may disagree with. So let's assume that a party summarized the judge before the circuit court, and a determination is made by the circuit court Other parties who disagree may appeal before the full bench. That could go on and on. Mr. Cummings will remain. But for me, and I think the best thing is the defense so serious. The best thing is to go through the trial and just get it disposed with. If he is guilty, so be it. If he is not guilty, so be it.
Is this a jury trial? Is this a jury trial?
He has not entered his plea. Yeah.
Is this a jury trial or what is it? Again, for the education of our people.
No jury trial.
Just one. I know that. I just wanted to.
Because
yeah.
Forgery should be a third-degree felony and under Chapter 50, Section 50.5 of the Penal Code. The maximum prison term then to be determined at that moment was 3 years in solitary confinement. But because of the amendments of the law, it is not a misdemeanor in the first degree. So certainly it could be for 1 year, 8 years convicted at most.
Tomorrow, Josh, real quick, because the SG got to go, guys. You got to shoot with your best question, please.
SG Cephas, St. Tomalin George. Happy New Year to you and your family. It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
My question is, you stated that from what I heard from you, you already agreed that Mr. Cummings committed a crime from what you're saying. You prosecuting this case. So, will you be bringing in expert witnesses to testify in this matter, like fake signature or forgery experts?
Of course, yes, we'll be bringing expert witnesses. We'll begin subpoena witnesses. The quantum of evidence we have to produce witnesses to testify to the quantum of evidence to be able to confirm and affirm them so that they can be admitted into evidence. We'll even have subpoena witnesses. We'll have a high-profile witnesses who will testify in this matter. We'll even have quality documents to produce. So it's a long way to go here. But in the meantime, he has not been, actually asked or ran before the magistrate court to enter his plea. Today we did an amendment of the charge sheet to include 2 other defendants because this has to do with criminal facilitation and conspiracy between and amongst the 3 of them, Daniel Nathan, Senator Daniel Nathan, and the party secretary, Luscious Tour. They collectively, individually, play a part in authoring and forging what is now considered to be a framework document that was filed. And also, these are still a set of allegations. We will have to introduce witnesses to testify to the pieces of document that we're going to introduce in the evidence.
Yeah, my last question is the lawyers. So we should expect you to invite lawyers like Councillor Woods, Councillor Sano, and all those lawyers that were involved in this case. You'll be inviting them to, because their credibility on the line. You'll be inviting them to also testify in this matter, or so forth.
I think in other instances, Mr. Cummings, I heard in other instances, the granted interview, he simply said, the alteration did not benefit the ANC. So more or less, that was seen or clearly tend to suggest a contribution to what has been alleged. But that again has to be established. But the fact that the other lawyers, in fact, their findings, we have copy of their findings, of what the lawyers have done. We got to read through them and find whether they are relevant. Those findings are relevant to the trial and that they can be used to form part of the material evidence to be introduced during the trial. As to whether or not we will summon them for them to be brought forward, I'm not sure, because the quality of witnesses we have are so, they are so great. And the testimony that they're going to provide is so excellent that we don't intend to complicate it or obfuscate it with too many, other, persons coming in. Because, as I said the other day, Mr. Cummings is an honorable citizen of this republic. He has been accused. He has not been convicted. But the part of the matter is that the continued appearance in court is consistent with Article 11, Section C of the 1986 Constitution. Has been treated like any other criminal defendant before a court in this country. So there's no preferential treatment for Mr. Cummings, and I've indicated that today that he must be treated ordinarily like any other. So when he entered the court, he diverts himself of the authority of being political leader, and is now referred to as defendant.
Let me ask you a question before we get Ketemba and your brother Eugene on with Kev. Let me ask you this question. Folks are asking you, if Mr. Cummings, if and only if he's convicted on these charges, these allegations, what makes sense of the DeLon and Yombly Kanga election? Can you explain that, sir? Will it be with the election that brought them to power be revoked?
Yeah. Listen, there's a question of law that arises today, and I was pondering over there, but I was trying to do a research, and I'm not sure. And in the coming days, that question of law may arise again and continue to dangle here and there, and may be raised at any time. And that question of law is, in the face of the contest regarding the alleged fraudulent document that is being contested in court, whether any arrangement there or not will stand as a matter of law. And that question in my mind is no. Because when the document is being contested and the basis of the veracity, and then that content is totally inconclusive and is going through a process of trial, the legitimacy of that document is questionable. But for me, it is the court to decide that. My duty is to raise that. Question of law.
Will you raise that question?
Was elected. I'm still pondering whether to determine the relevance of that question and the materiality.
I love this law.
The Honorable Serena Seaforth, we're going to take the last three questions. One is from Kev Hassan. I want to make your brother Ketema last, and Eugene will go in, please. Kev Hassan, please. The Honorable has given us enough time. Make your question.
Two quick questions.
One quick. We against time, brother. You gotta go.
Yeah. Number one, why did the Cummings team go against the camera in the court? Because I think you're filing a motion on that. The second quick question: if Cummings found guilty, can he run in this coming election?
Thank you, Kev.
No, when as a lawyer, criminal lawyer, you prosecuting the case, it's not good to give preemptive answer to what may or may not happen after. For example, that question will be a post-trial question, and I do not know or cannot determine, given the neutrality, independence, and integrity of our judicial system, to determine whether or not we have won. But what I can tell you is that the evidence is great, and it's incontrovertible, and it's cogent, and because that all I can say. But whether he was wrong, he was not wrong, that would be a post-trial question. If he is convicted, that would be a question that would be asked whether a candidate on our law may be qualified to run. I can say for sure, I have no authority to pass any opinion on that. But until then, my only role as a prosecutor in this republic is to ensure that he gave it a fair and effective trial, void of any problems, so that he enjoyed the fairness of our judicial system. And he was grateful to us that the court was truly independent. And I'm confident that he continues to enjoy that.
Okay, Eugene, please.
The last question, you didn't answer it.
What's your last question, Kev?
The one camera.
The courtroom camera.
Courtroom camera, sir. Mr. Seaforth?
Hello?
Yes. Kev Hassan last question. He asked you about courtroom.
The camera.
Oh, okay. There was a drama. There was a drama in the courtroom today. During my submission to the court, I said 3 things are happening. First, if the trial had been televised, Liberia would stay home to watch the trial. But because the trial was not being televised, they created the eagerness to see the man who is called Cummings on trial. And in the process of trying to gain access to the court, there was a scuffle between the police, the few police officers, and the crowd. And in the process of that, another thing happened. Either they were acting for on behalf of him or at his behest, with a sole objective to create a state of pandemonium in the court and render the entire process ungovernable. I have asked the court to be firm and decisive in taking a decision that will send a clear and unambiguous message to all and sundry that the courtroom is not a place for any political authority or activity, or any political authority has no power to be exercised in the court except the judge presiding. Now, in the process, 7 people were injured today. What are we going to do? They have been in plain view of the prosecutor of the state. So we must have to be able to restore sanity. We have done that. The Minister of Justice, Attorney General, then summoned the police, and the police came there and restored calm and order. So for us, the next time we appear, the Attorney General sent me a text and said, Mr. Solicitor General, the next time you go into court, let me know in advance. I know you're too preoccupied with too many things. I will deploy before you get to the court. So we have his support, we have his blessing, we have his instruction, we have his advice, his opinion of the Attorney General on this matter, that this matter should go on unmolested. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
In the court today.
You do your question real quick.
He wanted a camera in the courtroom, and there was some objection. Can you ask him that? That's what camera.
No, ask your question. He listened to you. Include that in your question, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Solicitor General, a very good friend of mine, I learned from you a long time ago that all crimes are committed against the state. I listened to you. Thank you. I learned that it's in my head. It will never come out. I listened to you talk about the evidence as is. I heard that word as is, presented by Yuri. The first question is, do we have enough evidence to prosecute this case? That's the first question. And the second question, when I look at the risk of arrest, and I like to quote the first sentence of it, it says, you are hereby commanded to arrest the living bodies of Alexander B. Cummings and others to be identified. We saw Year 10 and Alexander Luscious Tour today. And for some reason, I'm thinking, since this has to do with forgery, documentation, and the arrangement of documents, that for some reason, if it comes out during the trial that the former chief of staff in the office of Mr. Cummings, Anthony Yakula, had a part with the documents, are you prepared to subpoena her, as you said? You will subpoena witnesses and depose her on the stand? Will you do that?
The first question is that even though I'm not thrilled about phone line, but I think I got part of the issues of this. The question was whether or not we have sufficient evidence to proceed.
Yeah.
First and foremost, nobody, no prosecutor in this republic or prosecutor anywhere will go to court without evidence. So the answer to that is, of course, in their family as a matter of law. On the question of others to be identified, it clearly shows, because if you read the writ, and which has been amended, we indicated that there was a criminal conspiracy, and that conspiracy involved the 3 of them and others who may be identified later on. So we added even facilitation, criminal facilitation. So Mr. Aloysius Tour was or is the Secretary General. Mr. Daniel Nathan is or was the chairperson of the ANC. forgery could not have been hard when, for example, Mr. Cummings had not, in a way, in fact, part of the exercise we're trying to introduce is that principle of international criminal law we call the specific direction regime requirement, where, for instance, if you play a particular role in the commission of an act that your support or your advice or your persuasion significantly impacted on the commission of a crime, you can be held accountable. So we also call the attention of the court that we rely somehow to a large extent on specific direction as part of our theory of the case that we're going to introduce. Then, of course, the issue of the direct evidence and then other issues associated with the case. So, yes, the three, the utter in concept and conspiracy to facilitate the commission of fraud and forgery, and therefore they can be held accountable. And this is based on the agreement, on the persuasion advice of the private prosecutor who has prayed for this writ, in which the state was never a party from the initial state, but when the writ was issued, because it's a criminal writ, the state then become a party. So all crimes, yes, are committed against the state. And so, for example, the way you are talking to me, and somebody, you are asking me a question, and somebody comes and just slap you or broke your microphone, if you come to the state and complain of criminal mischief or for destroying your microphone, you made a complaint under section 10.6b of the criminal procedure law. The judge will issue the writ and pass it on to us. In that case, we will now intervene. When we intervene, when we get involved, it will mean that the crime has been committed against the state because there's a breach of the peace. I hope I answer your question well.
Yes, will you allow cameras in the courtroom to bring live this case?
Will you allow camera in the courtroom, sir?
Well, an application was made because the case is a landmark case that's being followed around the world, and we want you to have an opportunity to see the fairness and to see the quality of lawyers that you have in this country, to see the elevation that we want to introduce in the practice of law, especially in criminal law, so that you see that you don't just see anybody or even a lawyer or even in the normal Liberian way, but you see the next time when they call a person, you say, yeah, this man really up to his game. So beyond that, a generation from now, this matter will cease to exist any moment, but a generation from now would like to know how this trial was conducted. Maybe other people want to conduct research. For some of you, you want to keep it in your archive. For some of you, you have a case, your grandchildren want to read. Alexander Cummings is a great man. He's a great politician like any other Liberian. And you know this government respect, adversary views. And I thank God that this thing didn't start from the government of Liberia. It is from the CPP. If I learn there are multiple lawsuits that are still coming from other sources. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. And they started, they came together called as a collaborating political party. I didn't select the word. But if anybody slaps anybody in the party and the person brings a complaint saying we're doing collaborating political party, they may slap me and hear my ear bleeding.
Mr. SG, I know you. I know you are. You take the one last question from our brother Ketemba. Before you do that, are you seeing any reason? Are you hearing anything? Should there be any reason for you, the chief prosecutor right now in the country, to drop this case?
Well, for example, first and foremost, it is within the purview of the state. But where the injury sustained is so grave, is so gaping, and the person suffering the injury is still around, and is still, contending that, I don't think it's advisable for the state to act in this direction. In most cases, when the state enters, for instance, a knowledge prosecutor for or against or with prejudice or without prejudice, there must exist a condition that must show that the action for which the prosecution was being had is no longer exist. But the reason why it would be a bit difficult in this case is that there's a framework document, an alleged framework document that was filed. Now, if you drop it, it remains fraudulent. The issue remains unresolved. So you cannot drop a matter when the controversy, the basis of the controversy will not be resolved, because then the document remains fraudulent. Now the question of law that I have asked and that you are talking about is that whether in the face of the context and regarding the alleged fraudulent nature of the document, whether that particular document can stand. That question has to be decided by the court. So in this case, no, absolutely no. I don't see the legal basis for the state to drop this case, because the reason being is that if we were to do that, then it makes the document even more fraudulent, because the contest will continue. In the face of that, for us to restore law and order, we cannot drop a case when the contest rising out of that particular document still exists and still clear and pressing.
Thank you very much. Ketema, please take us home with the SG Serena Cephas.
Me?
We need a value for Ketema, please.
Cameron Cephas, how are you, my man?
Yeah, man. One time we were in school together a long ago.
Yeah, man. But anyway, Serena Cephas, I'll say this too. I'll ask a few questions. Two questions, but they're connected. Does this case has a precedent in our legal history? What is the precedent that you see of similar cases that you can relate to? And it's connected to the second question. It's a twin pregnated question. The second question has to do with what is the gravity with which you saw in this submission by the plaintiff that said this man, the accuser, this man has said that the state got to say we got to proceed. What specifically do you see that led you to say these issues have risen to this level, that cross the baseline, that require us to push this? Give us 2-3 things that you saw in that case that was grave enough in your eyes that you will say. And what is the precedent? Okay. One question I asked, my second question, yes.
Thank you. I was born at the latter part of the 1960s. This was the 1956 code, and this is Title 26, Liberian Code of Law Revised. It's called the Penal Code of Liberia. Forgery has always been in the book. I think you were not even born. So to ask me whether it has a president, it does have a president. There are so many forgery cases that have been tried, the Supreme Court opinion into that. I was not the one who wrote the word forgery in the penal code. So I'm not based on what the full part of the day.
No, Serena.
That's why every prosecutor is supposed to do. There have been Liberians in the past who were prosecuted for forgery. Yes.
No, Serena.
So that question I would say yes. Yes.
Cephas.
To say a political leader will commit forgery, that's before, so it's quite unprecedented.
Okay.
Hello?
Let him finish. We are on this phone, so let him finish. Then you will come in, Ketema. Go ahead. Go ahead, SG.
A political leader of a party has committed forgery. I have not seen it before, but once a political leader of a political party commits forgery, he then assumes the name of being a defendant. In this case, Mr. Cummings is a defendant because he has allegedly committed forgery, and this matter has to be tried and established.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
The second part of the question was that what has led or what has given rise to us or to the state to get involved? What is the materiality of the crime that warrants the state to get involved? Every crime committed against the state is considered serious. Every crime, unless it's an infraction, even an infraction against the state, it's still serious. So, for example, where you're talking to me as a friend, I know you, Abdullah, and somebody walks to you and then slap you, and you take the matter to the police or to the court, they still will take it serious. Every little case they take it serious, not because, in fact, when we are taking cases serious, we don't take the cases serious by names. We take the cases serious by the crime committed. So then we say you are defendant. So all defendants are equal. Maybe if all crimes get gravity. But in this case, it's someone with a huge stature and an influence who has been accused of committing forgery. And you have seen, because when that happens, it doesn't have the right to any threshold for us to act. We act based on what the environment of the rich said. he did.
Okay.
And he reached
Okay.
the
SG.
simple set of allegations that still need to be proved. And to be able to prove them, we have to produce witnesses to testify to documentary evidence that will be adduced during the trial.
SG, actually, you answered my question, but you evaded most of my question. I'll be honest with you. And I'll say this why. What I said was that you will agree that there's not a...
Raise your voice or come closer. He's not getting you.
SG, the question is, you already agree. We agreed on one thing, that this has no precedent in terms of a political leader. This is a major political trial.
No, I didn't say so. I said in terms of a political leader committing forgery, no.
But we agree. That's what I just said.
Yes. So
that's what I just said.
Yes, because Mr. Cummings has now been described as a defendant.
Right. Okay. So that's what we agree on already. No, we agree on it. It's unprecedented. Okay, we agree on. Now, on the issue of materiality of the issue, and the issue of materiality, I think, is important because there are many cases where you say, look, this case, we're not going to pursue it because we don't think it's risen to this level.
Right. Let me answer. I understand it now. Now.
Right.
I have said prior to this, I said if you were to enter, for example, a nolle prosequa with prejudice to the state, the controversy that the fraudulent nature of the document has generated will sustain itself, will remain. That would be a state of pandemonium in a TPP because the document will remain fraudulent. Because the document will become a source of conflict. So the state cannot intervene at this stage. The surest way to be able to deal with it is to use the law to correct all of the errors. And in so doing, this is why we are involved. So if we can, for example, the man said it's signature, all this one will alter the government. Then just the other thing, we enter another prayer, you already made up, Mr. Cummings. What are you doing? You're setting a stage for conflict. You're setting a stage for riot. Because there will be a riot between and amongst the collaborating political parties. Do you wish to see that? So the purpose of the intervention of the state is when the crime is committed, the state will act because in a way that it will solve the controversy rather than leaving it unsolved and then creating an opportunity for people to take the law into their own hands.
Okay, my last question is, and this is what we do here. We do a lot of analysis. We've been doing some focus group from the Spoon Talk, and some of the skeptics are saying the government has an interest in making sure that Cummings goes through this legal process because they are suspicious that Cummings is beyond international sanctions against the government of Liberia. So the government say, look, there's an interest convergence here. If they're coming for Cummings and Cummings, we've been trying to see, I'm coming, listen to me, and this is a good opportunity for us to nail Cummings for his alleged role in international sanctions against the government of Liberia. These are the skeptics. We did a survey, and the skeptics are saying the government has interest in Cummings going through a prolonged legal process and a prolonged conviction because the government suspect Cummings to be beyond international sanctions. So this is a time we can catch Cummings and put him through this thing because we suspect he's doing that. And the second aspect is that your excitement about the case, it's Pella's son Eugene Frango on this show is also suspecting the same thing. He comes up with a hypothetical theory that says there's an interest convergence between URA pursuit of Cummings, and the government preparedness to punish Cummings for alleged internationalism. How would you react to this?
I have never been a policy analyst. I would never project myself in that direction.
Thank you.
Article 15B of the 1986 Constitution gives every Liberian citizen the right to hold an opinion separate and distinct from the national policy decision of the government. So Liberians is part of the exercise of their constitutional right to hold an opinion separate, to hold a suspicious opinion. But when it comes to the application of the law is the law. The fact of the matter is Mr. Cummings being treated like any other Liberian citizen before the law for 4 years. So we have complied with Article 11C which is the equal protection right, because he's been treated like any other Liberian citizen. So people will have a suspicion that the man What are the names is laboring around the world to put sanctions on people? I don't know. Because I'm not a policy analyst. I don't analyze issues. I only analyze law issues. Only two things I do. I read the Bible and the law. Now, what Cummings does, why he doesn't do is not my business. The first thing I want to say is that if Mr. Yuri, even if Mr. Cummings had come or had gone to the court and complained that Mr. Yuri authored a framework document that they both did not agree upon and he cited clauses into that, today Mr. Yuri will be in the dark the same way Mr. Cummings is in the dark. You know, we are seeing the rock in the hard places.
Okay.
When we started, yeah.
Mr. SG.
I beg you. Oh, Stanton, 1 second. I beg you.
Yeah, because we're right against time.
Stanton, SG, will Mr. Cummings be allowed to travel?
Yeah.
Will Mr. Cummings allowed to be travel?
Mr. Cummings what?
Be allowed to travel.
Can I tell me, you say, will Mr. Cummings be allowed to what?
Travel. Will he be allowed to travel?
Oh, listen to this. When you surrender, and let it be a form of workshop. When you surrendered yourself to the jurisdiction of the court and you filed a criminal appearance bond, your activities is now regulated by the court using the bond, the criminal appearance bond, because it's on a criminal bill. If you intend to travel out of the country, as to whether or not you travel out of the country, that question is not to the prosecution. The question is to the court.
Yeah.
So what determine? Because the whole essence of the criminal appearance bond is to ensure the day-to-day appearance of the criminal defendant in court. So let's assume he wants to travel and the case is on. It's the court that will determine that. But the court will so determine that will pass it on to the prosecution to see whether the prosecution have any objection. So for us, I can't answer yes or no because the man is on bail. It's on bail. So it's the court that's going to regulate that. Because to say, no, so it's not within my purview. It's not the property of the court. You see?
Let me ask you a question why you leave us tonight, Mr. SG. And again, thank you. As you plan to come live on Spoon next week, we say thank you very much. For my question, my last question to you is this one, sir. Can Mr. Cummings countersue Mr. Yuri or any one of the political leaders in CPP?
Well, I think, for example, if it's in a civil action, you can what? You can even countersue because the civil procedure provides for that. If there was a civil action in preventing the other country, they call it a defense. In our jurisdiction, we call it the answer. You can raise a counterclaim. We have done that many a time and too often. And where certain claims, are clear and cogent and concise, and you can move for summary judgment on those claims, and the court can pass upon that. The rest of it are in context and now go to trial. But this is not a civil action; it's a criminal action. So while the matter is pending and undetermined, and while the trial is going on, Mr. Yuri cannot bring any criminal case against Mr. Cummings or Mr. Yuri. Mr. Cummings cannot do that because we can't have one party as a private prosecutor in another case. In the one case, and the same matter going out, and the same defendant who is in the dark, turn around become a prosecutor in the same case on the other side against the person who was the private prosecutor.
Knowing what as well, we got you. Knowing what we know today, will Mr. Cummings be allowed to campaign freely?
The question, I'm not chairman of the election commission. And it's like asking me to do the work of the chairman of the election commission or whoever the chairperson is. My only role is to show whether Cummings can be tried successfully and can be given a fair and decent trial. I can say yes, I can assure you that. Whether during the trial you will be allowed to sit in a defendant's seat and nobody will molest him, I can assure you that. Whether he can be protected to go to court and back, I can say that. Whether while in court, you have an opportunity to consult the lawyer, I can assure you that.
In this case, what would be a win for the Solicitor General, the government? What would be a win for you in this case?
Equator is also justice, like that in Liberia. In 1962, the Supreme Court passed on a case and it's found in 15 Liberian Law Report page 392 and then 419. And the Supreme Court said the role of the prosecutor is not necessarily to convict, but to ensure that justice is done. That justice is done has to do with acquittal. So, for example, that case is called Isi Abayo Mikasel. And you can find it out, you see what the Supreme Court said on that. So, in this case, the prosecution or the governor of Liberia certainly only trying to do what the law says. It's not that, it's a victory. Even if Cummings is acquitted, it's also a victory for the government.
Is it a concern for the government, knowing that we are going close to election, that they choose not to hold on to this case, not to drag this case? Is there a serious concern for the government, for the persecutor, for you, that you want to close this chapter for everyone to go freely if necessary? Or you just
the Constitution, chapter 3 of the 1986 Constitution provides what they call speedy and public trials. So, speaking of public trial with me, that the trial should be conducted in public and should be speedily done. So, that's why we're in court.
Thank you very much to SG Serena Cephas, the classmate of Ketama.
Okora, before I come to you, for the fact that, Okora, you have to mute your receiver, please.
Go ahead.
So the fact of the matter is that Mr. Cephas has substantial evidence. He has enough of evidence that have made him to come on radio while the case is ongoing, to come on radio to be able to tell the people what they should be expecting. That is to tell you that Mr. Cummings, go or not, Mr. Cummings will hardly go away from the case for him to either travel, for him to do nothing. Because when you file a bond, that is a guarantee that indeed that you will appear because it's a criminal case. Let me go to my first caller. Caller 60, how you doing?
How you doing? Abraham, I think sometimes we don't get it like when post on misleading information like what you doing now. Now let me say why. What evidence Serena Cephas had that mess that man was talking where he can combine? This is what I noticed about we let me finish.
No. I in the driver's seat here. So,
all right, you in the driver's seat, but let me make my point.
Yeah, you will make your point. You asked me what evidence the Serena Cephas has.
Yes.
If Serena Cephas never had evidence, you think that he will be able to invest into the case? That indeed that the man does not have evidence. And first of all, the two people that you are comparing, they are not the same.
No, he don't have evidence. And furthermore, the case is no evidence case. This is the game you're trying to play or they're trying to play. Either Ben and you were working for CDC government and trying to think they can suppress the man because they're seeing the man is shining, but God will prevail. Like, bro, we have to change. Now let me say something.
Now you take it to God. You say God will prevail. I thought
that God will prevail. No. God will prevail to deliver Liberian people. Forget about. I'm not talking about Cummings because I know he didn't do nothing. Because Ben and you were the same man who had a press conference which I watched. That I even transfer. I got it where he said everything was okay. And not only that, you're so much. You're thinking, oh, because the man stand.
God, I'm coming to you. Just hold on. I'm coming to you.
But it would not work. And another thing,
what thing will not work? What thing will not work? They are in the presence of the court. Then you say that the thing will not work.
That's what I'm saying. Let me finish.
It is evident against evidence. Mr. Cummings, you know the first thing first is that Mr. Bernard was able to feel the government was sufficient evidence. And that is the reason why the government was able to look into the case.
Bro, we're still in the problem that we're in. The country was still in it. Look at the man that you're trusting. You know, we're very funny people. That's one day I was talking to somebody, a white man who lived in Liberia for a long time. The man said, when he saw Liberian people singing, keep power, vote for it, you Liberian people are not ready. They changed that the country deserves, and we continue to lie to ourselves. that somebody who come, they must be cricket or before they can be, or they must be in bed. And not only that, there's this same justice system. When we attack Henry Costa, it was not a good justice system. Not that because that Mr. Cummings was a good justice system.
Okay, that one.
So now it's a good justice. No, come in. Good justice system.
That one leave with you now for you to
No,
take it
anyway,
down.
me, I just asking.
You're asking who, me?
I asked him the radio station there, and when he left the country, they all were praying that he come out safe because we knew what the government was. Also, now the government is a good thing. I mean, this how I look at things. You let wait, let the evidence come up. If Mr. Cummings is guilty, like you're all praying, thinking he will go behind bar, whatever, let him go. But Liberia will be delivered, and Mr. Cummings will be the next person on Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you. Okoro, what is her name and where are you calling her from? Okoro, we lost them. Let me call. Okay. Okoro, what is her name and where are you calling her from?
My name is Elijah, calling from Minnesota. How you doing, Abraham?
I'm doing quite okay, and you?
I'm good. Thanks for the show, and thanks for the topic and discussion.
You listen to Serena Sifos? What is your take?
You know, I listen to Sifos. Before I get to Sifos, you know, my sister that just called, those are the people that got Cummings. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, those are the people that got Cummings in the type of problem in today. You see, all they want to do is to hold the man here and just keep running with him. They're not looking at any mistake along the way.
Cora, I'm coming to you. Just hold on. I'm coming to you.
Talk today. This thing is getting serious. But they sit in America here and just full comments that people against him, people don't like him because he breaking change and this that we got to pull Spain to where it is. What Serena Sifo explained, at least to Serena Sifo is not taking any side. You hear what the man said? The man said if Cummings were going to be the one to sue Euro or fortune senator or anything, Euro were going to be in the same position he Cummings in today.
Yeah.
You see, that tells you that the man is only playing his role as a government, his neutral role.
As a government, when it comes to criminal cases, government is to try all criminal cases.
Ebi, there are so many evidence against Ellis Cummings. The thing was very simple. His friends were waiting to iron everything up. But because of the type of quarrel that just called before me, because of people that died, is that what made Ellis Cummings so stubborn until he ended up in court facing criminal charges today. And they are still continuing the same old thing. They will continue with this man until they damage the man political future because they don't want to listen. They don't want him to listen. They want him to be stubborn. And up to now, I don't even know what kind of leader they want him to be. If they don't want him to listen, if they don't want to put him in check, if they can tell him that what he's doing is wrong, if they can tell him to do the right thing, I don't know what kind of leader they want him to be. I just don't know what kind of leader they want him to be. I am disappointed in the supporter of Ellis Cummings. Ellis Cummings got his own problem. I agree. But the supporter of Ellis Cummings are the main problem.
Yeah.
Are the main problem to this man. The main problem, they got no idea in our political arena. They got no idea in our political arena. Those that been in the country should be the one to guard the man, how to go about. But instead, they just fooling the man. The first time the man came out and apologized that he did think of the document, they went and persuaded him to take down the post. If the man had never going to take down that post, but now he's not in court. But now everything finished.
Yeah.
But now everything is finished.
Thank you.
But they went and fooled the man. The man took down the post to deny. Today, the man is in problem. And then they sit in America here talking about the other person not get proof. The other person not. Y'all will damage that man, and y'all will continue to damage him. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Hello. What is her name and where are you calling her from?
There's OBG from Michigan.
Michigan, what is the name and where are you calling on from? You calling on from Michigan, but what is the name?
OBG.
OBG is not a name.
Octavius Gilman.
Octavius Gilman. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Cora, coming to you just for now.
The Liberian in the diaspora, I mean, need people like you because, I mean, it kind of therapy now for people like us that work 60 hours a week because listening to you describe, telling Liberian that CFOS provided evidence or he got proof.
Yeah.
It just kind of troubling.
It's troubling now, but when the mayor, you hear the man. The man said that they have evidence. If they never have evidence, this case was not going to go forward. Is the evidence that Benayure, you know that Benayure was trained. Benayure was trained by Charles Taylor. You know that. You know that Benayure, he is a snake in the green grass. You know that for sure. And you know Benayure, he is someone who hold on to in his heart, but he love of you. You know that.
Okay, let me.
Or maybe you don't know.
Okay, no, I just giving you time, so I leave my few seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so look at you as an educated young Liberian. That our country future is resting on your shoulder as a young man in this great country, and you sitting on a platform and comfortable saying that a rebel leader who killed 200 and some more thousand of your brothers and sisters, destroy your country. You agree now that Benedict Yuri, with this man blessing, the rebel leader blessing, looted the country. You agree now that Benedict Yuri now you look up to him as a credible person to be a decision making or make decision for your country and for you as a young man. That is troubling right there as Liberian, because there is no sound and no more human being on this planet.
I'll come to you just for now. Okay. Go ahead. Cora, what is the name and where are you calling from? Pastor,
hello.
Yeah. Cora, go ahead. Pastor Charles, I'm coming to you. Go ahead.
You talking to me?
Yes.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. My name is Samara Pratt, and I call from Pennsylvania.
Go ahead, Samara.
I listened today to the SG, but firstly, I want you to take your time and go back and watch the MECA press conference with Information Minister Leto Rennie. He said, and I quote, that me tell a man to forge the document that is in court without using allegedly or accused. So that was a verdict. That means Mr. Cummings is guilty. Then the SG said today on Spoon Talk that we have sufficient evidence. My point is, how can you have sufficient evidence when the defendant had not brought in evidence from his side and then presented it to the court, and the case has not even begun? So how can you say we have sufficient evidence?
Yeah, the manager said that because it's the evidence. You want for the matter to say that they don't have sufficient evidence?
No, he should have said, listen, we went to school, we learned. If he should have said, right now we have what the accuser presented. We are waiting for what the defendant will present.
No, the case does not work like that. It does not work like that. It does not work. It does not work about the way in which you feel. It does not work.
The government is the prosecutor.
No, it does not work. It does not work. It does not work about how you feel that the Serena is supposed to say.
Okay, you know what? I agree.
It worked. First of all, when the evidence was brought, before the any criminal case, before the government can take cease of that matter, they first of all have to look at the merits of the case. Okay. The second thing is that they need to look at who is the accused. Mm-hmm. Then they look at the case, the longevity of the case.
Okay.
Then before they can be able to prosecute, if the case does not have a magnitude of evidence in it, the government will throw that case out.
But then that's what I'm telling you. Because the government is supposed to go through the case first. The case should begin. Then the government will see if the case have a magnitude, because the government says that the one that is excusing Mr. Cummings is Mr. Ure. So it's Mr. Ure versus Mr. Cummings. So the government cannot say we have sufficient evidence. Because when the case begins, then the government will see the magnitude in the case, because then both parties will have presented their evidence. You understand what I'm saying?
Thank you.
No, let me say something.
Yes.
Can I say the last thing before I leave?
You can say the last thing.
I'm happy that now the government, the justice system is working.
No.
I hope after election, when Joseph Baka doesn't win and lost the election, you shouldn't say it was rigged and there's no justice. Okay. So let the justice continue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okoro, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, good evening. My name is Roland Newman.
Roland Newman, go ahead.
Yeah, and I call from North Dakota. Thank you so much for the show, and let me just add my 2 cents. Listening to all of the arguments presented, especially from the government, SG, and even listening to what supporters are saying. But the fact remains that Cummings has made a lot of error along the way.
Mm-hmm. What are the errors that Cummings made?
Very good. A lot of people say, oh, Cummings is listening to his supporters and those that are following him is being controlled. But I think Cummings is somewhere around his 65 or above. Okay, there's a man who has worked in corporate world and he should have, an intelligent IQ. Okay, the first thing is, one of the mistakes Cummings made was, look at George Weah, who, as popular, even George Weah's popularity was competitive to Madam Salif. Okay, it was not easy. George Weah struggled to get the presidency. He didn't get it. Why did he do this? He succumbed himself to
the Senate,
to the VP, to the VPs first. He succumbed himself to the VP under Winston Tubman, 2011. He didn't still succeed. He came down to the Senate.
Yeah.
I thought.
And before that, George Manuel Weah accepted the peace ambassadorial position under Madam Salif.
Yeah. So, the tendency of when people have money and they think that, they become so arrogant because they have money, they look down on other people and they feel, okay, since I have money, I can be. And without me, nobody else can be. I mean, that is a mirage.
Thank you.
That's one thing to Cummings feel on. Cummings would have come, they already had a setup for him. Work with JNB. JNB is already in age. Play your role. See how the 20 May 10 election went with the amalgamation of the 4 political parties.
Okay.
The governor was frustrated. Now, what got in your hair? He started bouncing all over the place. I'm not here to. I did not come in the race to be second. But let's fast forward. Yeah, the argument many of them are making. If you follow this argument from the day Benena Ure filed his complaint. Now, there were a lot of counts that Ure didn't even specify that this is what Cummings did. All Ure said was the document was altered and we need to look into the matter. And an investigative committee was set up. Okay? Up to now, the report.
Pastor Charles, I could just hold on for me. I beg you after this guy.
Everybody was still trying to protect the CTT and they didn't want. But the truth of the matter is, all the ANC people know that Alexander Cummings himself admitted that due to the close of dam, the dam meaning he didn't have the time to go to his colleagues to solicit their signature. So he swapped the signature page from the what you call the July 19 framework and added it to the amended version. Okay, and this is the issue that is contested, that which Ure is in the party ALP is complaining that it is wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pastor Charles Aku, how you doing? Quickly.
Thank you, Abraham. Thank you for the time. There's a point here. Last week, for last year, the last day of the show, I said something, and I want to repeat it before I leave the show in a minute. I said, if Charles Aku had been the problem for Liberia, it is not time for Charles Aku to repent. And I went as far to Joseph Walker, Ellie Sally Johnson, and any other Liberians who have been the problem for Liberia not to survive, God's to not to survive and be happy in their own country. God will disgrace them one by one. And I think it's the time to put ourselves together.
So you are saying it is time now for God to disgrace Alexander B. Cummings?
Not Alexander Cummings alone. He may be misfortune at this time, but more to come. And the more to come is a warning to each and every one of us. Who feel to do crime is an easier way for Liberians, or to help Liberians is an easier way. It's time to repent. You know, we live in America here. If you were to go to work and to clock in 10 o'clock, and you went to work 8 o'clock, and you clock in 8 o'clock a.m., you're going to be there 10 o'clock. That is forgery as well. Okay. And they fire you. I said it the last time, my manager was fired because he forged my paperwork. Just to fire me, and you are caught. So if we live in America here, and with the same set of crime, my question to myself and to every Liberian, do we really want a better Liberia? We live in America. The thing we can do in America, we want it to be done in Liberia, and we clap our hands. A child African cannot speak forge any document in America, you'll be penalized, you go to jail. But when child African goes to Liberia, he does that in Liberia, then we say, no, you can't say child African because you're just not letting me. My people, let me think. God is about to clean Liberia. And it's not coming. He's just a victim this time, but he will not be the only victim. More to come, and we need to return. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Charles Aku, one of the formidable pastors here on the talk show. Yeah, for us, we'll continue to flag the truth. We'll continue to flag the truth. Let me take my next caller. Carter, what is the name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from New Jersey. My name is Leo Kamara, and I've called to give my input on the show.
Leo Kamara, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our sister who called and you try to correct her, I wanted to make my input on it and I give clarity on what the Solicitor General said. But thank you so much. There was something she was struggling with that the Solicitor General already said that its evidence is sufficient. The Solicitor General said that the evidence submitted, the court look at the materiality of the evidence. They say the materiality of the evidence, which means the prima facie was sufficient to issue a writ. So if you went to court and you say AB tempted with the document. It's not going to be arbitrary. They don't issue it on arbitrary or verbal communication. You must have presented something which is the prima facie, which precondition the rate to be issued. So the clerk cannot issue a rate without a prima facie. Yes. So in that prima facie, look at the materiality of the case. So Mr. Yuri, the complainant submitted a sufficient documentation to authenticate the case, and the clerk also issued the rate to Mr. Cummings on what they use the word allege. So when the Solicitor General on the show, he did not say criminal, he said an alleged criminal case. So until the verdict is given on our case, Mr. Cummings is presumed and as an alleged criminal on forgery. Now, on our penal law, that charge also has to go through a criminal proceeding process. Mr. Cummings' right to move around and everything is in the purview of the court. So you have to appear at every time you are called for, even for you to travel and other places that is in the purview of the judge because it's surrounding a criminal case. Now the next thing is that I empathize with Mr. Cummings on many instances that people need to take away the emotion. You remember one time James Fomoya, the former election commission, who was given a document to sign, he did not read it. The content in that document was different from what that was discussed to be published. But his deputy, who was Livingston, had inserted some part of the communication and changed the phrase, and James Fomoya just went and signed. That led to the removal of James Fomoya Election Commission. Now, the document in question was not just a 1- and 2-page document. It was a bundle of document. So I believe that document was tampered with.
Yeah,
it was
Mr. Cummings came out, he published it on Facebook that it was by mistake that he carried the document, so he apologized to his colleagues. A party member, a party star, the gurus in a party went out to tell him, Mr. Cummings, bring that in now. Mr. Cummings, bring it down.
Yeah, but this is why I want to say.
What I come to you, just hold on. I come to you. Yeah.
Be emphatically clear. I met him and discussed with Mr. Cummings. Is a corporate person. Mr. Cummings is good. Mr. Cummings is kind. Mr. Cummings means well. But Mr. Cummings has been surrounded by
people.
Very, very criminal. He's surrounded by people who do not see Mr. Cummings as a political candidate in Liberia. They see him as the only ATM in our Liberian political scenario, and they use that system to exploit him. And at the end of the day, they're going to damage it. Let me tell you one thing. In our ballot politics, this is the second time I have seen it. When a group of people come together and they see you prior to the election that they want you to be a vice tenant bearer, my man, that is the most blessing thing for you.
I'm telling you.
For Yuri, Yomli Kanga Lawrence, and the rest of the people say, come, let be a vice president without even convention. That is a blessing. You know what I'm saying it for?
No.
During the 2005 election, Madam Salif, after she lost the 1997 election, she came to America and she told Alhaji Nkrumah that he want him to serve as vice president. She took many people in Philadelphia. Professor Nkrumah said, no, he's as educated as hell and he can be vice president. He has a political party he can run. And he said, okay, no problem, let me go. When she went to Liberia, she got with Barney Sherman and the rest of the people. She fought hard to destabilize ICO. What she did, she sponsored Freedom and pulled Damate up, and Damate destabilized Alhaji Nkrumah vote, and he did not get the position. What happened? Manasari Eno appointed Alhaji Nkrumah as ambassador plenipotentiary to under Egypt aware, and he did not confirm it. She stepped on him. So I am saying in this nutshell that Mr. Cummings, if it means well for the Republic of Liberia and the people of Liberia, the CPP that becoming an alternative for Liberian people, They see you as one of the brain. If the opportunity you miss it, nobody should tell you that after George Weah's second term will make you president. Sir Joseph, they all want to be president. You will not have the faith. This is the time. Number two, the CPP has been embedded with invisible hands. And that invisible hands are all in CDC now. We saw what happened to Bronskin. When the simple went to Bronskin, they gave them pickup, they gave them car. They thought that Bronskin would have been president. Bronskin died in frustration, in deception, the deceiving. For Ben Savino to betray Bronskin in the broad daylight. Those are the same people who are jumping from place to place and deceive. I mean, there are a lot of political hustlers in Liberia who want to capitalize on the character of Mr. Cummings and his wealth to achieve, and at the same time they were dumping. We saw Kennedy Sandy, who we thought that Kennedy Sandy would have been the president today. We saw these same people around Kennedy Sandy, they dumped Kennedy Sandy and they left Kennedy Sandy right to Old Road Junction and they went by the way. There are a lot of people who have gone. Cummings is blessed. Mr. Cummings is blessed. People love him, and that's why I think the case in court can only be solved when the leadership of the CPP, the Elder Council, the Religious Council, the youth of ANC, the youth of United Party, the youth of ALP, the youth of Liberty Party, they all come together and ask their stakeholder that if you put me well for the foul march of Liberia and the sovereign march of the Liberian people, you'll withdraw the case, let them move forward. With the hoarding, this is the government that you people have accused that the judicial system is corrupt. They are not prepared for 2023. That the people here go carry a case too.
Thank you.
That the people here go carry a case too. So if you believe in the judicial system now, whatever result come 2023, all of you should receive it.
Thank you.
I'm saying, how can you carry your complaint to the person you want to unseat? You've given more interest and credence to the government now today. So I think the Liberian people and the CPP, they need to think about the people who suffer in
No, it was right for Mr. Ure to sue. If Mr. Ure have not sued, you know that the National Election Commission or the government will sue the four political parties. You know that?
Yeah, but you see, AB, your show is very good. You know what's going to happen? It has put the government into a very good seat to have a macro-strong political party. Because very soon the Liberty Party, Breakaway Group, and Musa Ability Group will be going to quote on ground on the constitutional legitimacy. Very soon, that the same Liberty Party, Ms. Honorable Yombi Kaga Lauren, might likely sue Mr. Cummings because she is the first person who alarmed the forgery. Okay. And Mr. Cummings said it was harmless error. Now, let me tell you something that people need to understand. Let's put it on a legal microscope. If we all come together to form partnership for business agreement, and we say, AB profit at 10%, Bill profit at 10%, and maybe the other code at 50%. If for any reason, and I go and say AB profit, instead of 10%, I go, that maybe that 9.9%, and I say, oh, that lay one, the harmless error. Once there is change to a legal document, even the font size, the letter, everything, you can, once you agree it was harmless error, that was why Yomli Kanga said, please apologize to your colleagues. I thought that was a ground for amicable resolution. Now, if that did not happen and we drag it to court, there could be countersuit. Even if Cummings walk away tomorrow and he won the case, Cummings will countersuit Benin Huey, and the entire political issue will keep going on, dragging, okay. And the government will drag it. But we look forward for more discussion, and I think Honorable Cummings can still apologize on the issues and we can still move on.
Thank you. Let's take our next caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling us from?
Hello, AV.
Yeah, but your monitor is on, your receiver is on.
It's off. I'll turn it off. It's totally off.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm John David Gila speaking from Missouri, St. Louis.
Caller, just hold on. I'm coming to you.
Supporter of GMD is very strong one too. But the issue I see about the whole case is.
You say why your name John what?
John David Gila from Nima.
Okay.
I've been in USA here, St. Louis, Missouri.
John Gila, go ahead.
Okay. Are you getting very clear?
You are live.
Okay. My issue is the reason that FG was on Spoon TV today saying that they had sufficient evidence. Though Benner is right, but the sufficient evidence they are saying that they are holding on to certain things. Their reason now is to revoke the election of Senator Dillon and Yomli Kanga.
Number two. Is that only Senator Dillon and Yomli Kanga? Is that only two of them?
Let me count, of course, but the top opposition in the house. One time.
No, but that mean Bocha will be. That mean the other guy from Cape Mount, the other senator from Cape Mount.
They are trying to weaken the opposition in the other way.
Yeah, but that does not only mean. But you hear what Serena said. Serena said that lies with the court. That is not a decision for you to say. But that decision lies within the court. Because the people voted for.
He will not be clear. He will not be the first person. Now the case is here. He can't come now and say that. He will never be sure and say that on a public radio. No. He will be around the bush. But that they are in. That's their primary in. Their objective is to revoke those that were on the CPP ticket. To declare re-election. I say for free. Take my, let me say,
but on re-election can, now we're not batting. On re-election can, now we're not batting. That re-election can. Thank you.
But a major issue too, we want for Alexander Cummings to go to jail for 1 year.
That one you go to jail for 1 year if you can't get it.
Saying that he refused to eat with the errors. Everybody in the CPP who does not have the political ambition to become president or vice president, they all silent themselves say, okay, then the over leader, you come and be our vice president. You think they don't want to become vice president? You don't want to become vice president? But then you don't want to become vice president? But all of them went together and said, you go. And he said, no, you can't become vice president. You don't even want to become senator. You don't want to represent the job. You want me? What you want?
Thank you.
He's very drug-free. The guy is very drug-free.
Thank you.
And the guy does not go to jail for all to set precedent on him. They will continue and continue and continue.
Thank you.
I tell you for free, Alexander Cummings has killed his political career. You see the part who call on your show? Those are the people that killed Alexander Cummings. They don't even get thinking. Alexander is not thinking. The man is not really thinking. I don't think that guy wants to become president for Liberia.
Yeah.
Look at the people who sitting in America here, thinking of different things, saying I'm talking all kind of things. They're not getting Cummings good advice, and he is not thinking.
Thank you.
You see all they on Spoon TV.
Thank
they
you.
Are just misleading the man, and he too is not have sense of direction. They're misleading him. Why you can't accept the opportunity there? Go and fight. The next thing, 2029, you will have the opportunity to go. Vaga is old, you will go for one term. Yes, that is a clear way of presidency for you. And then you sit down there and say no. Where will we have our population from? Where will you get it? Kumi cannot get Nima. Kumi cannot get Bon. Kumi cannot get Grand Bassel.
Well, who can't where you hear from?
I mean, I get counted. I mean, I'm alien. You don't have country.
Okay,
where
thank you.
We come from and can become president in the country. The guy is a complete gay. And we don't want that culture to be in our country, most especially in Africa.
Thank you.
You see? Okay, thank you. That's all we want to say.
Thank you. Akota, what is the name and where are you calling us from? Akota, they're calling us from 2211.
Yes, I'm calling from 24 South Dakota. Thank you for the show. Although it's your show, but I support Alexander Cummings. Like the friend. So it don't mind somebody being greedy.
You surprised of Alexander Cummings because of what?
I don't surprise. I support Alexander Cummings.
Okay.
Yeah, I support Alexander Cummings. But
why
the issue
you
is,
support him for?
I don't surprise.
Why?
Yeah, I support. Yeah.
You gotta listen to your phone when you call instead of you listen to your receiver. You have to listen to your phone.
I get it. I get it. I know that.
Okay.
All right.
I'm asking you why you are not surprised.
People are saying people are saying Arizona Cummings is greedy. But if CPP was funded, we have several issues on the table that with the primary, before even going to the primary, the concession building, all those stuff need to happen. It was, these are the agreement that we all came to. And now, so many people are thinking they don't know. And it's not coming, he don't want to go out by president. The process we talk about, let it play out. The winner will all support the winner. All right, now in this stage, even Arizona Cummings found guilty, my senator from Robert G, my senator from Grand Cayman, plus even the Bernard Samuka we're talking about, then all go back to election. If he found guilty, then all go back to election. That will be having a by-election, because many, majority of you guys are saying that, oh, Cummings, why he carried it was a fraudulent. Okay, we understand. So if the government come on that, yeah, Cummings is found guilty, and that particular document that is used to register for that document that all the senators then came through, they all have to go back to election. Then we all start from
that
zero.
One, with the
let
code for the court
go.
to decide. A level the code for the court to decide.
Let everybody go to.
Yeah, but it will be
go
level the
and
code
take
for
on
the
their
court to
feet
decide.
now.
It will be level the code for the court to decide that identical.
I hope let the court decide that if Arizona Cummings found guilty, let everybody find a level and go support the candidate that we all know who is strong, who have the power, who have the people behind them.
Yeah.
If he found guilty, because why is that some of the things we're not talking about?
Remember when you said when you found guilty that 1 year in prison.
No problem.
Okay.
It's why he registered as a man, and you come to represent the people. Whenever a fund Mandela went for more than 27 years, he stay alive. So Arizona even going for 5 years, it doesn't matter.
That was Mandela in South Africa.
It doesn't matter.
But that is not.
Mandela
was not 65 years old when he went to prison. Mandela was not 65 years old when he went to prison. Mandela was younger than that. Mandela was in his youth age when he went to prison.
Okay.
But Mr. Cummings is 65. So when you go to prison right now, 1 year, that 1 year will have serious impact on his life.
It doesn't matter. You have to sacrifice. So long if he will go fast, he will spend 5 years. It doesn't matter. But everybody go stand on their feet. The process we talk about that we don't want it to happen. That will force people that no, you have to bow down to this. It was not the agreement. So thank you for your show. Continue to put that on. Let it backfire come. Let's see who all will stand up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Carter, what is her name and where are you calling her from? David Flomo.
Hello?
David, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm calling from Liberia.
Go ahead.
I follow a program. I follow a program this morning, but the problem I got with most of the caller, the case that it could is that CPP case. Is the case in court? The signature page, not about CPP document. You said that the fake his signature is under the law is a crime. The not CPP case. They said the fake, yeah. So
yeah, but that's the thing that many people does not get. They
don't understand.
You are saying that he's suing Mr. Cummings and his towers for them 40 signature.
It's exactly so. So there's a case that in court, they're not CPP document in court. No. They mentioned the forgery his signature on document. So that signature case in court. In that CPP, what not we know.
Forgery.
That's the only law. It's a crime. They can go in jail for 5 years, 10 years. It depends. And the judge will come out with it. So in that CPP, say, oh, that long guy, the born on CPP ticket, nobody can no, now I want to put discussing. They put them a signature. The only when you go to the bank, you do somebody signature to withdraw money from it. That's it. So the 90 what party came from no. So there's a case in court. So that case, I tell no, let me tell you, almost is it when the ANC force were behind what they got, Henry Costa, about $2 US, equivalent to Liberian father, which is $500 for lesser passing. They were all Facebook sharing, all doing all kind of things. But coming and say, man, if took a finger document, no, it say it's a fake signature and attached to the document. That's one quote.
Thank you.
So when see for talking, no. Now, on our signature, they want to investigate.
So they are not in court for CP documentation. No. They are in court for his signature. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Kora, what is your name and where are you calling us from? Kora, what is your name and where are you calling from? Kora calling from 3852. What is your name? Kora, what is your name and where are you calling from? All right. Let me call Morris Gassama. Mr. Gassama, how you doing?
Hey, Avi, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing quite okay. What is on your mind?
Man, thanks for the show, man. Just quick, man. You know, when the whole thing, started, I think, when the whole thing started, I think Mr. Cummings and the ANC actually blew the whole thing off. Yeah, because when Mr. Europe brought the whole issue up, it was for them to resolve it. The first person that came up to say all sort of thing about this was Mr. Cummings and the ANC. They blew the whole thing off. And Mr. Cummings, all of a sudden, Mr. Cummings just became arrogant. How the people should apologize to him is a bullshit. Maybe you remember in Ray, Minnesota, that Mr. Cummings came and had a town hall.
Yeah, man. I am telling you, that is the reason why I put a picture behind me.
He said he finally should apologize to me.
That is the reason why I put a picture behind me. I made a picture here, my profile picture today. That is the reason. Because that was in Minnesota, the identical picture was taken.
Yeah, and they said that bullshit. The people in France should apologize to him. If anybody, the whole thing said, Mr. Cummings and the ANC indicted himself. They said the changes were harmless.
Well, it was harmless, right? They said that the changes were harmless. The changes were not minor changes.
They were not minor. It doesn't matter. The fact that changes were made unknown to the other party, that by itself is a crime. That by itself is a crime. So I don't even know what the noise people making. And these are the people that actually damaged Mr. Cummings. Seriously.
I'm telling you.
They damaged Mr. Cummings. But Mr. Cummings himself just proved that he's not actually, he doesn't know the terrain that he got himself.
No, he doesn't know the terrain. He does not know. He doesn't know the real liquor men in the terrain. You know that.
Liberian people can damage you before you come to your city. They already damage you.
Yeah.
He really doesn't know the country he got himself into.
Thank you.
Anyway, man, thanks for the show, man. Thanks a lot.
Kora, what is the name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm the St. John from St. Louis, Missouri. The caller before the previous caller said that the key is not about the framework, but the signature. But which document the signature on is the one that Mr. I call it Cummings finger. The document I made changes in it and finger it. And attach that signature to it. Is the one they're talking about? Is the one that brought?
Is the document that is to national election? But they guy that criminal. They guy refused to give the original copy of the document. Okay. Neither the photocopy of the document to the very political leader. The man refused to do it. The man refused to carry one of the original document to neck. The man carry photocopy the document and that's a photocopy.
The signature of those guys to the one that he fingered.
Yeah.
So if they go into legal law, the document that brought the one and rest of those guys on board are the one that is illegal. But the signature.
But the men that were voted for, the law can say the Ghana were voted for. the other side, the law is very funny. The law is very funny. The law can say, even though the changes were made, but this Ghana was voted for. This Ghana was voted for.
Amendment. They had an amendment. The amendment that they made, Mr. Cummings, who was the chairman at the time, did not go by the amendment that they made. He still went and changed some of the amendments and attached a signature to it. That is a criminal act. And you are saying that a signature on that document is against the law, it's a forgery. Okay? So now the government too is holding on it because the government too, they had the case in their interest because they want to revoke those guys that were brought on board by the CPP. They want to revoke them so they can come for re-election.
Thank you.
That's what the government are fighting for.
Thank you. Carter, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jose, thank you, man. Quickly, let me just chip in something. Quite frankly, there's two arguments right here. Now, one argument is Cummings being found guilty on criminal charges and going to jail if the case is adjudicated against him. And two, the another argument is the document will be considered fraudulent, and then the law and Yombly. I think that is a joke. You know, that thing is not going to be the Brani Samuka case. No attempt to say Yombly, DeLong, where the guy named from Brown County, the former deputy speaker from Brown County on CPP.
Yeah, and Borchard.
Borchard, the other guy from Riverside, Javon Smith.
Yeah,
on CPP. The other guy from Grand Cape Mount. So that thing is a whole joke. Government can't even think about making that.
The government is not even thinking about that more veteran now sitting on the side.
Forget that thing. That's a joke. The only thing is, look, let me tell you, this thing, of course, yes, this case has a bigger picture, and it is only politicians and people who have the, high intelligent IQ to understand what's going on. In the first place, Cummings been too arrogant everywhere. The opposition to himself in the CPP. Then at the same time,
the guy ran campaign against Ile Gonglo. Yeah. That I cannot forget about it. One way, the mayor ran campaign against the CPP candidate Ile Gonglo.
You see, look at some of the skeptics, right? It is of what you call it, a fact that Cummings have been secretly coming out to lobby for sanction, even not even being involving his CPP colleagues. The information is out there; it's not a hidden secret. Cummings has spent over $180,000 to find a lobbyist to put sanction on the government, and the government knows for a fact that information. They came to DC and they know.
For Cummings to
come fall in a trap right now, man, it's gonna be a slaughter hall for him. So they're not going to deal with it as a CPP thing. No.
They're dealing with the man as an individual. That's what Serena Sifa said. Serena Sifa said they are dealing with a man like an individual, and that was the reason why the guy said that. Yeah, Serena Sifa said that they wanted to pass a motion for them to grant then a television right for the whole program to be televised. They got to step against it because they know that in case when they are Cummings see them, on the stream, setting a docket, answering question, then they will know how serious the case is.
But look at some of the legal facts, right? Cummings now is the baby of the court. Now it is the court that going to decide whether he travels, where he goes, you know, I mean, they're going to create a serious legal peripheral for him. Their limit.
But that could have been anybody. When you are sued for criminal charges, when you bring a bond, that bond is just there for them to be able to give you, for them to be able to grant you, for you to be able to go home and come back to the courthouse. So Mr. Cummings is in serious water. He in deep water.
You know, the guy actually went around the corridor pretended to be Mr. Clean Hair, but indeed, that clean hair thing, when we come to America, that one we can be clean. You don't know when people come to America, they act clean, they don't drink and drive, but when they go Liberia, they cause police. They drink and driving everywhere, they misbehave. So, when Cummings was here, he behaved himself, but go back home, his real hand is not no damn clean. You understand?
Thank you.
The action has proven that he's not no damn clean. Just for example, how can you be a good leader when you is feeling conflict in the Liberty Party? You consider Musa Belete a dim-witted criminal like that, a redeemable criminal, is your partner. You accept endorsement from Musa Belete and the rest of the legs. The very guy, Martin Kula, who worked in Dillon office as office chief of staff. Now, you go and collect him to put him on salary to remove him from Dillon office. Then you go and say, you good leader, you're a bad guy.
But the guy is buying, can you imagine the guy buy the representative from Nima County, from Unity Party, the guy have to pay for that woman?
Yeah, what is the motive? How can we have a collaboration? You're not recruit. We're supposed to be recruiting from outside, not recruiting from within. Eh?
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing is not Manchester or Barcelona, buying and selling, players. So how can you do that? Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. For us, we are here to say the truth. We are not here to satisfy one party here. We are here to say the truth, and just how we receive the information, and just how we waste it on you. So on that note, that's how we'd like to come to the very, very end of the magnificent Abraka Talk Show. We are always here to present the hard truth to you all. But we are here. We are here to present all of you guys the hard truth. At times that you will not like us. I say us because it is me and Francis. At times that you will not enjoy what we will be saying to you. At times you will hate us. But we don't care. We don't care. All we know is to bring the hard truth to you guys. That's all we know. That's all we know. We know to bring the hard truth to you guys. Some of the issues that we can discuss here, the Spoon FM cannot even discuss it. Some issue that we can discuss, we can go through the hard truth. We can discuss here on this platform. The Spoon Network cannot even discuss it. Because we are the children of the lions. We don't fear no one. We don't fear no one but just to do the wrong. Me and my brother Francis, we are noted for saying the hard truth no matter how you feel. I know that some of my brother here tonight, I said that because, I never wanted to come to counter-attack him. But he knows himself. He knows himself. He knows himself when it comes to this job, when it comes to advocacy, he cannot compare himself with me. He He know it. That brother call here. He know it. The brother have a talk show. He know it. His talk show view that himself reach 150. That is the guy that came here tonight to put mouth on us. To put mouth on us. I was lying to go with his dialogue. I was lying to go with his dialogue. I will not call his name because in order for me to call his name on this platform, I'm making his platform popular. I will not call his name. But I know who he is. In no time, his platform has been there for rack of ages. We just established a platform 2017. We just established a platform 2017. When I call him for him to come to help me, the brother messed my system up. Messed my system up, never knew how to set it. The brother messed my system up. The brother messed my system up, and I have to allow him to go. Myself said along with Emmanuel Flomo, we were able to put our ideas together to mount the platform the way it is. The brother said sorry, he never believed it. He now tried to come in to ask me how I manage. That is the guy. That is the motivator. That is the guy that when he having show made there, his viewer that used to go to 100. That is the guy that came here tonight to say he writing trash. I call that trash. You don't play with me. You don't attack me to behave like it to say you can. No, you cannot behave like that on me. But this is just a warning. I can go for the neck. I don't go for the body. I go for your neck. I go for your neck. I don't go for the body. I go for your neck because I know what I'm depending on. I go for the neck. When they passing around supporting the political leaders, they don't know what to say to them. Then they want to come here on a decent platform to come here to come insult me. Really? To come here to insult me? Really? You of all person? What is the name and where are you calling from?
Some people prefer to call me Aliyu V. Samba, but I am officially Aliyu V. Kamara. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing quite okay. You are our last caller.
Awesome. Like I said on Francis' show yesterday, I like to say, because it's after 12 here. Look, I don't know what the ANC people want to say. I think I've listened to your show and listened to a few callers from them. You cannot eat your cake and have it. If you want to question the Liberian justice system, then you should think about what Cummings said. Cummings said the other day when he first went to the courthouse, he said justice was done. Cummings also said he's proud of the justice system. In court today, or yesterday in Liberia, Cummings also said that he appreciated the manner in which the proceeding went. So Cummings Cummings approves the justice system here in the country. So we just put that to rest. But like you said, the Solicitor General made several things very clear. Unless the ANC does not want to live for the reality, the man clearly said that if the case had no merit, if there were not enough evidence, the government would not, and no prosecutor in the first place would have taken the case. That's the first thing. So the fact that he said that, it implies that there were enough sufficient evidence to warrant a criminal allegation. So Cummings is in a very hard seat. The time for them to be coming out here and throwing to us and insulting and doing all of this, they should be reenacting. They should be focused on the issue at hand. This thing that they are playing with.
They're playing with beating.
This thing could bring Cummings down in a very short run. It could bring Cummings all the way down. Because it is a fact, Abraham, it is a clear fact that the paperwork that NEC has is not even an original paperwork.
It is a photocopy paperwork, and not just a photocopy, but it is a photocopy of the different version of the people that his partner they never saw on.
Okay, so that in itself legitimizes the document at NEC because photocopied documents are inadmissible in most court of product jurisdiction. That is the first thing that the ANC, and they're very intelligent enough to understand this. Abraham, the second thing is the signature date on the photocopied document at NEC says May 19. However,
Samuel, come in. Hold on for me, Samuel.
From May, one is in June, and the other one is in July. If the document was amended in June, then the signature on that document should have been June. But the signature instead is in May. That's just two things. The third thing here is the ANC admitted through some of its surrogates that the document, the changes were made, but they were either cosmetic or non-essential changes. But that is an admission of guilt, because whether or not, in your opinion, it is cosmetic changes, in the court of law might be different. Maybe the way we think about things, that's not how the judges or the Constitution thinks about it. That's why there is a specific body set up to interpret what is written in the Constitution. That's why law and the Constitution have their own dictionary. They don't go by our regular Webster dictionary, because laws are interpreted only by people who are constitutionally mandated to interpret them.
Okay.
So I don't wish the worst thing for ANC. I really don't. I believe that Alexander Cummings doesn't have what it takes. Alexander Cummings doesn't know the water he's trying to wash his hand in. And I think it's time for them to focus on the bigger picture and not be attacking Abraham. Abraham has the right to his show. He has the right to take a side like everybody else. It's about time for the ANC to focus. But maybe one thing before I go. You know, Spoon FM is trying to play the game of, if the document is not legitimate, that means whatever happened under that documentation is null and void. That's a big constitutional issue, AB. First of all, if the document is illegitimate by the Center of the National Election Commission, the Election Commission should not even have allowed CPT candidates to run on that document. Once they allowed them to run on that document, they ran, they won, and they were admitted in the House of Legislation. Let me tell you, there's no way you can go there and remove them, because then the only people who can impeach them now have to be the House of the Legislature. It is not. It would not be within the constitutional domain of the executive branch of government. The only power to remove senators who are not allegedly in crime, those senators can only be removed by the legislature, and they have to go through an impeachment proceeding. So it's a long process. Either way this thing turns out, Mr. Cummings is a victim at this point in time, and they need to worry about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Samuel, go ahead. Hello? Hello, Samuel.
How you doing, my friend? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing quite okay. Let's wrap it up.
Sorry, man, just waking up. Man, get a glass of water you drink, man. Why you, man? We are like Gilman to me to talk. You brought that man on the show the other time. I told you, I said Gilman and are the people that destroy Cummings, but Cummings don't know. You know, the people got a power say when you sit down in the sand to play with children, don't question yourself when you find sand in your trouser. What's happening to Mr. Cummings, my brother? He shouldn't be surprised. He shouldn't be surprised, my brother. Mr. Cummings deserves what he's getting. And you see, Mr. Cummings are Christmas chicken. He's only waiting for Christmas Day to die. You ain't know the way in Liberia we can get Christmas chicken passing the community a man tell you the chicken will eat it during Christmas Day. Every morning that chicken wake up there, look at that chicken, you know that Christmas Day that chicken will be gone. That's how Cummings looking like. Cummings' political career is just a matter of when it will be cut off. But a target has already been put on Cummings' back as a failure. Cummings messed up big time. Mr. Cummings had a great opportunity that people in Halari took by them that went to prison, that spent their life, their time, they never had. I listened to Ben Ayure interview, and I listened to DeLong, and I listened to Yeke Koluba. All these people went and begged. All these people went and begged. They went and begged Mr. Cummings. And when you listen to Cummings and you listen to Terrell Gonglo interview, my brother, people that really want to do something for the country, my brother, they are willing to compromise. Say what you may want to say about Josh Weah. In as much as I don't like the way Josh Weah is running the country, Josh Weah showed that he was willing to work. Only thing he become an international criminal overnight. But for all indication, at least he gave it a try. That statement Mr. Cummings put out there, I will never become anything else other than the president of the republic, that was a target that he put on his back. And that was what seditions and whoever using to destroy him is using. Because, man, your word is your bone. And Akara's Grace said it. You see, you put on follow the people sometimes, Eddie. Let Muna Young Blood Panel say we will change the constitution.
Yes, she said it.
They say how? She said we will amend the constitution. After a few months, what happened? We saw chair. Who know what was sitting in that chair? What are Gil there, what are Gizi there, what are Pele there was sitting in that chair that Georgia are going to introduce to us after that bill might have passed. I mean, after the people might have voted yes upon that proposal they put out there. So as God could have it, the people voted no to it. As Karen's girl went opening her loud mouth and said, CPP will not hold on Spoon Talk. He even said it on T-Mac show. They're asking how. He said we'll use the weak link. One person there, get Bihar, and we'll use the ego, the CPP will not hold. He said, mark my word, if the CPP led before now to 2023, don't never believe me as a region, as a representative. Ain't happening today. Mr. Cummings supporters destroy him. They will realize it at the end of the day. The time is getting closer. Listening to most of they are not following the talk shows in Liberia. If they follow the talk shows, they will listen to the Liberian people. In fact, the Liberian people, the new Cummings now is getting sour in their ear. I challenge most of them over there. Let them tell me who in that place that is following Cummings will are being induced with money. So now we can't keep doing the same thing and expect the same result. You outside of government, you undermining people. You outside of government, you using cash violence. Imagine when a guy go in the office of the president, how many brown evidence the guy will say out. Just imagine, my brother, the man not enter there yet. Look at the amount of envelopes he's giving out. Everywhere he goes, he scatters someone. Everywhere he goes, he scatters someone. But you see, Mr. Cummings, he needs to understand Liberia politics is looking at pocket pan. Even lion before they kill it, they can go with pin. That's why he forgot to know. You know how many times Helen Johnson and Sally then paid the price? They went to jail, they suffered, they were abused. Chancellor, they went in the bush, they fought war and stuff. You just walk from, I wonder the guy was reading history or following history. You just walk from nowhere. And I was
just working. This man was just working. That man was not.
Yeah, you just walk from nowhere. I want to be president. Then I listened to his surrogate when they talked to me yesterday. When they asked him questions, he jumped, so he talked and talked. And you see, CDC also charge ANC. That's why they're bringing the CDC technique. They think the way they harass the Liberian people and they impose jobs we are on them, they think that method will work again. That's why you get people like Menepaka, the way they're running their mouth, every time talking bunch of lies. You got Gilman there and how you call it, Yasini, and all of them. The team when the gang or use that CDC technique will work. It will not work. This time around, in fact, the Liberian people are open now. Your eyes are open. Your eyes, some of us. Y'all listen to what the people say. Y'all ask some of us. The people, Liberia now, the people, they're not voting for political party. The people voting now individual. Yeah. And the people saying, Liberia, you bring the money, will not refuse it, we will eat it, but we already know who won't vote for. Listen to the talk shows. The people telling you our minds already made up. We already, and the people not smart. You know, that's why I say, if you're a politician, you're in Liberia politics, you will understand if you need to run or not. Because the voters, when before the election, they can start telling you who they want to vote for. If you take notice here,
but
you haven't taken notice.
Yeah,
the people can start telling you who they want to vote for. Me, my only thing I got to say here, the one Gongo platform, a GMB platform, there's a lot of similarities.
No,
JMB, please.
No. Right now, we are getting an insider that's saying that Tewanja had the first meeting with the Pape. So they are planning to have the next meeting at the end of next week. Because those are the political party. Those are the political party that they are planning to go in meeting with, and the other guy who left from here.
Let the Pape sit down. Let the Pape sit down this time around with Tewo and Yombli and have a negotiation between these three, because everyone was thinking or expecting that Yombli would be the vice president of JMB because of gender balance. Because at the moment, if JMB would pick any female, it would be her or either Gongo work. For me, in my opinion, these two people, I want to let my boy, but let my boy like Helen Johnson, so anyone that close to Helen, you're not in the category that I think you need to be somewhere in Liberia. In as much as she get character, for the fact she's kind of like somehow close to Helen, for me, I don't trust her. Helen, you see, so Helen can use anything to survive. Helen, everlasting living. Even put her in the book, she will grow. Anywhere you put that woman, she will grow. So anything Helen get close to, she will survive on it. So please let the woman try to find a way to work with Tewa, find a way to bring him on board. In as much as he wants to run, let me just close on this, Eddie. You see, Liberia, we need to start thinking about the betterment of Liberia. If JMB select Tewa as a VP and Yombli go to be able to run as the Senate Pro Tem, Eddie, those three people can sit down and craft a 25 years plan for Liberia and have an international conference where they will invite every single Liberian to partake. And that's one of my proposals to JMB. If God helps he wins, he should have an international platform that every single Liberian can call and participate and give some suggestions and ideas. And his government can pick among them and take the ones that go for short-term and long-term solution. And another thing, try to look for qualified Liberian. John, we are government and not to entertainment government. You see, they said representative making movie, president making music, representative making movie. The next thing we'll see the senator there. The next thing the senator then will start making comedy now, my brother. So we having that small. We're going to get a full-grown entertainment government. So those two people, Tewa can take it out after JMB. Yombli can follow if they are doing the right thing for the Liberian people. This is not about political party. We need people that will come and do the right thing for the people. Okay? Thanks for the time, AB. Don't stress yourself about Gilman. Mr. Cummings are Christmas chicken. The title already on here. They're waiting for Christmas Day to die. Don't waste your time, my brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time. I will call you. I will call you so we can talk.
Okay. Now take my friend Anthony C. Anthony C. Go ahead.
Hey, Abby, how are you?
I'm doing quite okay. What's your take about this gigantic case?
Well, gigantic case. Is it a case to make the roads that we need to be built? Is there a case that will make the University of Liberia to be renovated? Is there a case that will improve our healthcare system?
Whatsoever case
Is there
that you
a
may
case
that you may
no?
think that it is, that is the case that it is.
Is this the case that gonna help to build the coastal highway we heard about? Is this a case that will make for the schools in Liberia to have computers? Is this the case that will make
What is the
electricity?
take? What is the take? What is the take, my friend brother? What is the take?
And I'm giving my take, For me, I come at things differently.
Yeah, but I know that.
So that's the question I'm asking, because you said it's a gigantic case.
It is a gigantic case. It is a case. So, it is a case that that is to measure our root of law.
So when the case is won, what does Liberia benefit? What does the ordinary person in West Point, Negro Town,
Liberia will benefit a lot because there will be a
So tell me some of the things Liberia is going to benefit.
Liberians will benefit because this is just to tell you that this fraudulent case, that to fraud someone's signature, that is a crime. That under our law, that is not something that we take lightly. That will be a caveat to everyone. I'm not saying to specific individual, to everyone, that to forge someone's signature is a crime. That is one of the benefits that Liberia will get.
So the case is concluded.
It's not concluded
in the future. No, listen to me. I'm saying something. I talk differently, Abby. So the case is concluded tomorrow. And the outcome is that, yes, it has been proven that the signatures were forged. And that is a crime. And now a precedent be said, nobody gonna forge signature. And that's it. Liberia gets better. Look, let's get serious here, Abby. This is politics.
Politics to
this
you?
Is politics.
To you?
And let me tell you, and give me time to explain. I think I'm the last caller here.
Yeah, you're the last caller, but you have to hurry on because I've been sitting here for almost 3 hours. So you have to hurry on.
So the Liberian people listening to me right now. This case is only intended for us not to talk about the real issues.
What is the real issue?
Those who have interest in this case is only going to pump up your emotion about something that's not going to benefit anybody in Liberia.
All right.
As we speak right now, we have a budget that is before the Senate.
That is different discussion. Please don't get the budget discussion with this discussion. The budget discussion is a different discussion all by itself. And I'm willing to take you here 1-on-1 or 2-to-1 for us to be able to caution the hard questions, so that you can be able to vomit, to be able to tell what made the budget different for the other budget that have been passing in Liberia. That is different case. That the budget case, I don't want for you to have yourself confused, for you to narrow the budget with this case. This case is quite different, absolutely different from the budget case.
This case is a waste of time. This case further destroy the CPP and everybody who have been part of the CPP.
this case makes everybody in the CPP who have been associated with the CPP, who have supported the CPP, to look bad, even makes the leaders to look more bad, incompetent, useless to the future of Liberia. That is what this case has done. Another thing this case has done is this case makes President Joshua to look like a maverick politician, a prepared and better politician than Ure, a prepared and better politician than Bwaka, a prepared and better politician like Cummings.
Okay.
This is what the case has done. Let me give you a scenario.
No. Make a conclusion now because
you want us to talk about the case, right? So let's talk about the case.
I want you not to conclude. I cannot spend the last 15 minutes here sitting. Yeah, I got.
All right, you don't have time, and I understand. So I will leave it there. I will close with this.
Okay.
All those who believe that this case is a victory for anybody running for politics, that person is not thinking about Liberia's future. If Ure wins this case, it does not benefit Liberia. If Cummings goes to lose this case, it does not benefit Liberia, it does not benefit anybody in Liberia. This is a waste of time. This is intended for the Liberian people not to ask the serious questions that affect their daily life about school, healthcare, everything that we need to have a decent country. This is politicians playing their game so we'll not ask them the hard questions and telling us to focus on their personal fight. This is useless. It's a waste of our time. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul, go ahead. You are our last caller. Paul, go ahead. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Amy.
Yeah, go ahead. You have just 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you. I followed the program, but I didn't want to call. But Anthony C.A. is the one who forced me to call. You see, these are the people, these are the pay agents for Cummings. They're not looking at the real issue. Here in America, can Anthony C.A. go to any institution and forge the bank signature, the bank manager signature, other people's signature?
In full?
Can he?
In full?
You know the thing they can make me piss off. What they don't do here in the United States and in the West, that's what they carry back to Liberia to do. Then they take advantage of the fact that Liberia is a third world country, a post-war country. The people are not educated, the people are suffering. So they use this kind of condition to marginalize the people. What Cummings did is a crime. Universally, it's a crime. You cannot do that. And so they should. I thought they would be talking about let's withdraw this case and discuss it, on a kind of mutual basis and move forward. But it's acting arrogant, and that's the arrogance of Cummings that led to what's happening. Let me tell you something, baby. These guys,
about to cut you off.
Yeah, just one minute. These guys, they have talked to Cummings behind the scene. Too many people that I know have spoken to Cummings. Cummings will agree. But by the time he comes to America, you are seeing there, Dr. Richardson, then Pete Bally, then Ben Savvy, then, but then say, oh, don't do it. Then they go, Ben Savvy that I know. I don't really want to talk about that. Good night.
Okay. Thank you. Samuel, what you say? Go ahead.
My man, thank you. You're not going to put me on AB. I'm going to get vexed with you, seriously. You know, people that give me that, let me say, Mr. C.A., they just saying these things because the one way or the other want to kind of like focus on the so-called major issue. But my brother AB, there's many ways to skin the cat. Okay? The way you kill the animal, not how you butcher it. Mr. Cummings has reached to a point that we need to use different techniques to butcher him, and that's one of the techniques. Mr. Cummings has lied too damn much. In fact, they make a lie a small child AB. This man wrote on his own page that that when there were changes made, and they took full responsibility. And this guy went on OK effort and said nothing was changed. This guy went to Ghana and JMP walked out of the meeting, and his surrogates came on Facebook saying JMP ran away. And then Mr. Cummings sat on OK effort and said the meeting with he and Boaka was fruitful and successful. Eddie, Mr. Cummings is a liar, and this time around, I know the case will be compromised. Mr. C is right. That case, Eddie, the few things will happen in that case. Take this from me. ANC wanted this a long time ago. You know why they wanted this? ANC wanted this because they wanted Yombly and DeLong victory to be revoked. When you listen to Maria Yakula, one time she said on Spoon Talk that, if they say the document not legit, then that means all those that won election, the document not legit, and we'll take it to court. If that's what they want to say about the document. Let me tell you, ANC know what they are doing. They know exactly what they are doing. In this case, two things will happen. They were threatening there and they will compromise this case. What Cummings did is wrong. Even me, I want Cummings to get prosecuted. But again, we are talking about Liberia. So the $1 million question here now, will Judge Weah for once, will the justice system for once do the right thing and prosecute Cummings? Because Cummings is 100% guilty. The reason why Cummings don't want to give his colleagues the document, because it is the evidence that the straw that will break the camel back. So he can't give it. You listen to Ure the other time. Up to now, he has not given. You know the thing that caused Cummings to rile on the people? Are two things, AD. Liberia, everything will do it the family way. Even legal things will do it the family way. Behind closed door. Let just do it the family way. The man will get it later. That number one. Number two, these people protected Mr. Cummings too much in his life. If you listen to even Dylan, he said when we had the convention, the following week Musa changed the document we knew. But we've been talking to behind closed door. It is about time the politicians know we're in the 21st century. That 1847 method can work. Some of these people, record them. Record their voices. Some of these people, expose them. If you will expose Cummings from the initial stage of this process, the election that got lost in Nimba, it was not going to happen. The one in Kema was not going to happen. Phoebe Harris election that he caused CDC today to win, movie star to win, it was not going to happen. But you see what they have allowed themselves to go through, and you see the disgrace Cummings is bringing on them, it's because they allowed too many things, they compromise too much. Okay. So Mr. C need to understand, not because Auckland tea growing your more, you not laugh. You have to laugh. And not because the case is not relevant, we can't talk about it. We need to talk about it. Because Mr. Cummings is a professional liar. And Eddie, I know you work in a Western system there. There are some black people who were about 4 or 5 in the era. The white people will target one and they will use that one against all of you and promote that one. If that one person willing to compromise and they are more can wrong, I want to believe 100% Cummings was one of those black people in Coca-Cola. That's why he went that far.
Thank you.
On a serious note, if you look at the way they got fingering everything, and he using his way through by lying and using dubious means to get there, I want to believe that how they got a sent in Coca-Cola.
Thank you.
By undermining people, by throwing people under the bus and betraying people. So, Mr. Sear, we know the case is not relevant to you, or it may not be relevant. We all know how the case will end up. But when Auckland tea growing your mouth, you'll not close your mouth for it, you'll laugh. We have to talk about it here, Mr. Sear. We can't let the case go. We need to show who Cummings is. Those that will be fool enough to vote for Cummings, they're doing it at their own risk. Thanks for the time, AB. Go sleep now. If you take any call, I will call back.
Eat, boy. Just praise. Hey, how that blade? Baby, I want more. One more dance, my baby. Your body drive me crazy. I want you to be my lady. See you genge, nigga, kepa, you genge, skulupa, you genge.
I would like to come to the very, very end of the magnificent Abraka Talk Show. Here we bring you the truth, nothing else but the truth. See you when I see you.
I can see you, baby, let me hold your